Hey, everybody. Infinite Weekend Podcast. Zach and Josh. Thanks for listening. Like, subscribe, follow, share 10,000 times.
10,000 times.
We've already been telling you about it. 10,000 times. You got to do it 10,000 times or we hate you. No, I'm just kidding.
I think 10,000 is pretty feasible.
Yeah, I think so. Everybody knows 10,000 people. You know, everybody. You follow people on Instagram. If you collect all of your followers and people you follow on Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, people you see on the street, at the grocery store.
Just start.
Everybody knows 10,000 people, right? Everybody's coming into contact with at least 10,000 people.
Basically, harass people.
Correct.
That's what we want you to do. Next time at the grocery store, go up and just put out loud on the speaker.
Like, I don't want to say become a door-to-door salesman for the show, but that's what
If
I'm
you
saying.
have time.
If you have time.
If you have time, that'd be great.
Be like the Jehovah's Witness of promoting our podcast.
Yeah,
we go door to door.
I like that.
Hi, do you have a few moments to talk about our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ? Except it's Infinite Weekend Podcast.
Infinite Weekend Podcast, and then hand out little business cards, or little books,
right? Little pamphlets.
Right,
exactly. So that's what we need.
That's what we need. If anyone has any ideas for that, shoot it to us.
Right. So this week we decided we've listened to some of our fans. Take some criticism, I guess, not or some ideas that people will throw out. Be like, hey, you should do this. Hey, you should do that. And we started this podcast we just really wanted to just get on the mics and just riff, and we didn't really have like a structure in mind. So this thing it's an amoeba. It can take any kind of shape that it wants, right?
Yeah, we went into it kind of not necessarily blind because we tried this before years ago, but yeah, it has room to develop and blossom into something different if we wanted to.
So we can do whatever we want, right? And if we try something and we're like, that fucking sucked, we're not going to do it again,
right?
So we're going to try out some different shit. So we're going to be a little more structured this episode instead of it just us,
full on
shooting
ranting
off the cuff and just whatever rolls around in our brain, goes through no filter and pops out of our mouths. So we're going to kind of have some segments today, kind of a little bit more structured. We're going to start off with, something that pissed us off this week, essentially. Basically, the idea is there's stupid people everywhere.
Oh, yeah.
And we come into contact with them on usually a weekly basis, sometimes daily. Depends on the week. And, we're highly observant people and,
highly opinionated
people. And big stuff pisses off, little stuff pisses us off. So, we'll just, you said you had one yesterday that really something happened that pissed you off.
So,
I don't know what we're going to call this segment. We're going to call it someone that was like grind our gears or
Anger Weekly.
Anger Weekly.
Anger Weekly.
Short fuse segment. No, I've discovered that I already have a bit of an anger problem, which I've talked about on the show before, but I've decided that reminds me of that meme. Before we get to that, was that someone I reposted on the my Insta page was I think you did too, maybe. What it was like, why do men start podcasts instead of going to therapy? Right, it's the same reason why women start OnlyFans instead of getting a job.
That's right. That's absolutely. This is our outlet.
So exactly. So you would have needed therapy, probably.
I would have.
Soon.
I don't now.
Now you're.
I
good.
don't need it. Now I'm perfect.
Right.
We bought an older home similar to yours. Like it's a house made in the '60s, but
right.
So we've been trying to like redo bedrooms and revamp and all that good stuff.
You always find little surprises.
And I've discovered that I am not designed for home projects.
Right. Okay.
They like something as simple as yesterday Kylie redid the bathroom, which it looks great. She painted it. She did all the work because I hate painting and I just didn't want to fool with it. So she says, "Hey, look, I got these handles for your little cabinet where you keep all your things." I'm like, "Okay, cool." It's 4 screws. You just got to pre-drill them and do them. Mm-hmm. Those 4 screws and 2 handles turned into a 2-hour predicament.
Right.
So at the very end of it, I literally just snapped. And I was like, I want to sell this fucking house. I want to burn this cabinet to the ground.
What was the problem? Just like holding it up and plus doing the screws?
We tried that, right? And it's just, the drill's just like shredding the inside of
the screw. You're just stripping the fuck out of it.
It's just, and I was like, you know what? Let's just stop now. I took the fucking doors off, which I should have done in the first place. It always ends up with not having the tools you need because we try to rush it, and I have no patience for home projects, none.
Right.
So finally got them on, but I literally was like, I told her, I said, you should have married a handyman because I don't like any of this. I don't enjoy it. I don't like any of it. I was
Yeah.
downstairs like sweating mad at the entire operation.
Yeah, I feel you on that.
I just and I feel I know that they say older houses are built better, and they are. I love our house, but fuck man, maybe it's just being an adult type thing. But I hate home projects.
When they say
with
like
a beautiful passion.
When they say like older houses are built better, I guess they just mean sturdier.
They mean
but they don't mean they don't mean better.
They just mean like even like yours, probably mine is. They don't make all brick homes.
Well, for instance, the reason
with like
why
tongue and groove floors, and
right?
original,
They don't do that.
They don't none of that. They're not insulated as well anymore.
Right.
I'm sure there's some out there. I'm not a home builder.
Well, yeah, but they like, I get what you're saying. They like cut corners, and it's all seems kind of thin and flimsy. All the new houses, and I get that. And I get the idea that it's sturdy. Is that when they say that, like it's built sturdy, like a fucking tornado would come through and it won't take it out or whatever. Right. I get that, but I don't think I don't think the word is better, because one thing I hate about old homes like this and built in the '60s is the tiny ass bathroom. The one
everything is
tiny
small.
bathroom.
Everything
it's
is
annoying.
Small.
And there's no, and also they don't do showers back then. It was all tubs.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I hate, and it's one bathroom, and it's small. And I'm sorry, but this day and age, you need to have a little bit more space moving around. I just like a bigger bathroom.
And I have 3 bathrooms in my house, but like I bought the house. It's my responsibility. Like I bought it. I didn't have to buy it. But living there now 3 years, I can tell you this: I will not buy another older home.
Yeah.
Unless I have the funds to have someone else come in and redo everything before I move in. I will not do it again.
Maybe the reason why the homes seemed smaller back then is because we were smaller.
Well, people were smaller.
We're all fat as fuck now.
Everybody's fat. Yeah, that's true. Like one out of every 3 toddlers is obese. Right. Like we're on a real...
Home builders had to adjust and make, design wider door frames.
Well, you remember that house that Kyle and I rented years ago that was built like in the 30s?
Yeah, dude.
And those stones were like 15 feet, 20 feet tall.
So it's like in the 60s, everybody was small, but you go like 100 years earlier than that when they, like they built that house, or I don't know when
that house was built. It was crazy.
Built in like the 20s or whatever. It's like everybody was tall.
Yeah.
Because the doorway was a lot taller.
Yeah, so I've decided that it's not for me. Hats off to all you men who can work with your hands and not get upset, or women, whatever, who cares. But it's not for me.
Some stuff I can do on my own, but at some point, like I don't even change my oil anymore. I have to get somebody else.
I don't change my oil,
and that's the easiest thing you can do on a vehicle. But it's like, fuck, why?
I don't rotate my own tires.
I don't want to do all that.
I don't want to do all that. I don't want to.
I don't want to get up under the car and get oily, and it's just whatever. I'll pay somebody $50 to do it. I don't care. It's fine.
What about you this week? You got in your ass this week.
Well, the thing about the house, the other thing about the house thing I was gonna say is, since you mentioned that, is I had that same thought that ran through my head whenever I pulled out my dishwasher since it was broke. So I pulled that out, and as I'm pulling that out, now I'm like, well, I could either put another dishwasher in, or I could redesign my whole kitchen. And so I gamed it out in my head, and was like trying to figure it all out. And I was like, I'll move this here if I cut this, and I change that here. I can rearrange, move the fridge over here. And I was just like, that will take me. And of course, I'm thinking of how I could do this by myself, and then, but not realizing that I'll probably have an unfinished kitchen from now until eternity. If I start that, I'll never get it finished.
That's kind of the predicament I'm in now.
So I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna wait. Let me wait to get the funds up. Pay somebody to do it. It'll be done in a couple of weeks, and then it's over. Right? It'll cost more, but how much more, really? Because
even if it does,
it's big deal because then it's done. Right? I
want somebody else to be able to feed their family,
because the stuff is still going to cost what it's going to cost. Right? So I could buy all the materials, cabinetry and the countertops and new appliances and all that kind of stuff, and then I pay somebody else to do the labor. I mean, it's not going to be that much different. All I'm doing is saving in labor costs, which is, I mean, it's going to be a lot, but it's not going to be.
I'm not trying to prove myself to anyone that I did it. It's not like I'm 17 years old trying to like prove my manliness by working with my hand. Like I don't give a shit.
I'd rather just done with it.
I'll just be done with it. I'd rather just enjoy it.
All right, so.
But yeah, that's what got
cabinets.
Just home projects, home improvement projects infuriate me.
So what'd you do when did the cabinet go up at all?
Oh, they're all up. Yeah, it's finished.
Okay, because what happens is burn the house down.
What happens when I start it? I don't care if it takes 8 solid hours. It will be done before I call it quits. I will not give up on it.
I got you.
It will get done. I don't care if it's like, let's just go buy. No, by God, no. It's getting done today.
So you'll just sit there and stew in your anger.
I will stew in anger, and I will literally, if I have to whittle my everything, it will get done. I will not quit on it. It will get done.
See, I'll give up. I would be the one to be like, fuck this, and I just throw it all in the trash and be like, I'll do this shit later.
Nope.
Right. That's the reason it's taking me like 3 months to replace my dishwasher, and it's still not done.
Well, there's so much cooler stuff that comes up.
That's also true. Mike.
That's me.
Dishwasher's lame.
Home improvement projects this week that's what happened. That's my short fuse moment for fueling my rage.
Well, so my encounters with stupid people in the wild moment that kind of pissed me off. It didn't really piss me off, but it was more like, bitch, are you serious? Really? I was just baffled by
some of those
this interaction. Well, so it actually wasn't this week. It was actually when I was in Alaska, and I forgot to mention this because it was just, I hate people like this.
That was our Nat Geo episode.
Right. Yeah, that's what everybody was saying.
So everybody calls it. It's like
listen to Nat Geo.
I like it.
Right. Like I was Jane Goodall in the woods hanging out with apes, the monkeys.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why I go right to Jane Goodall. There was a bunch of who was a Jack Hanna? That's what I should have said.
I mean, it was appropriate for gorillas.
I guess so.
So you're good.
Yeah, but there was no gorillas in Alaska, so it makes no sense.
Not yet. We don't know.
Okay. The bears ate them all.
There's a snow gorilla.
Right. No, so we were at Denali Park, and it was the visitor center. And after the tour, we were just bullshitting around at the visitor center. Of course, everywhere I went, I ended up getting I had to get a souvenir. I'm just upset. I either get a magnet, a coffee mug, or a T-shirt or a hat. That's what I get every time.
Yeah.
So I went to every souvenir shop everywhere for every place we stopped. So when we were in there, got our shit and we decided to eat, and they had a little bistro type thing. And it was walk up service. You walk up, you order, and then you get your shit and you pay it over the counter. So it's like a cafeteria type thing. So I thought you would have to you would make it, select it, and then they would bring it out to you and whatever. But it was kind of like a cafeteria thing is what it ended up being. So everybody got off these tour buses all at the same time, right? And then they immediately went to the food lines. Well, the way it was organized is everybody. The line wasn't organized was the problem. Is everybody started filing in a certain way to where they were blocking the actual registers for people to check out. So you would grab your food that they were making it was burgers and chicken wings, and I think there was some sort of deer stew or something. It was different stuff, and they would just make a shit ton of it, put it in the window, you grab it, and then you go and pay, right? Well, the line was filtering out to the right side to where it was blocking the register, right? And so people were having to get around the people who were waiting in line to go pay. And so the guys came out, they're like, "Hey, let's move the line around." So I'm standing there, and this old lady's behind me, and we start trying to snake this line around, right? And so I'm just moving with the line, right? Trying to get it back around to where it's going out the door instead of blocking the register, right?
Yeah.
And so we're trying to do this thing, and I'm just kind of standing there, and I kind of shifting to the left trying to move, and this lady's behind me doing the same thing, and then she kind of pops around my shoulder, and she's like, "Hey, sir, the line is in the back," and I'm like, "Yeah, I was standing in front of you." And she's like, "No, you weren't." I was like, "Yes, I was." The thing
you're about to make a scene.
Yes, and I got super pissed off because I'm I was just baffled that I told her when she walked in, she was like, "Oh," confused on where the line starts. I was like, "Oh, it's right behind me." And so I told her to stand behind me in this fucking line. And when they shift the line around, she has amnesia and forgets that I'm standing right in front of her. And she's like, "Oh, sir, the line is in the back." And look, my thing is I don't like people that jump the line. Usually I don't give a fuck, right? But if you want to be one of those people that's someone's jumping the line and it all it does is kind of delay your entry in, and everybody else, that's kind of rude. That's a rude thing to do, to jump the line. I get that.
But I'm not going to make a huge deal
right,
about it.
I'm not going to make it. I usually don't care. So say if you want to be the person that wants to say something, I would do it this way. Someone jumps on, "Hey man, line's in the back, by the way." If they're "Oh, I'm with my friends here, they were holding for me," I'd be like, "Okay, cool." I'm not going to question it. I'm not going to be intransigent about it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, she was pissed.
Well, she was like, "Are you sure?" You know what I mean? That was fucked up.
I don't understand. I so confused
why?
how you're guided her, and then she wants to jump your ass about it.
Right. I was standing right in front of you. How did you forget that I was standing in front of you?
Did she eventually just give up on the whole thing?
We were standing in that line for 20 minutes, so it's not right? I was in her field of vision for 20 minutes.
I'm so confused with this interaction.
Yeah, it's not I had a wardrobe change and I look different. You know what I'm saying? I put on a wig and I look different. I looked exactly the same. I even like had little conversations with her. You know, in the beginning, I was like, you know, right behind me.
Something happened.
So right, but the fact that she questioned it instead of being like, "Oh, my bad." She was like, "Are you sure?" Bitch, it pissed me off.
Yeah,
I was about to elbow an old lady right there.
Well, yeah, that was in Alaska, right?
In Alaska, yeah, this is in Alaska.
She a local?
No. Well, she was on. Well, I mean, I guess she could have been a local. And
she was a local
tour,
bitch.
But she was a local bitch. Right?
Local bitch for Alaska. Okay, cool.
Yeah,
I like it.
she was local in my bubble and need to get the fuck away.
Yeah,
Yeah, that pissed me off. So yeah, I don't like line jumpers just like anybody else, but I'm not going to say anything. And even if I do, it's going to be like a, hey, you may have not known this. Just, hey, man, just letting you know the line's back here.
Like,
if they buck on it at all in any way, I'm like, okay, fine. It's not because it's not worth it. Who cares?
Yeah, like who really gives a shit?
Who gives a shit? You're
Right.
gonna be one person ahead of you.
I'm the same way.
It's not like we're
I've
like
never made a scene.
right. It's
in
not like we're
fucking
like
line.
a Black Friday, you know, door buster, and we're trying to get the last toaster. You know, which I never do anyway because I hate Black Friday. I hate that whole
I
thing.
could get a full segment on that.
I hate that whole thing.
We'll do a holiday special on Black Friday.
Oh, you know, I fucking hate holidays. I think we've already talked about that. Where
a little bit.
I don't like holidays. They're too overwrought. It's way too much. Can we just celebrate the one day and be done? Fuck. But anyway, that's the reason I don't like birthdays either. But so yeah, that was my one, you know, fucking holy fuck moment.
So we've had a pretty good week.
But yeah, this week I didn't really have any that I can think of, you know, moments where I was like encountering stupid people. I feel like it happens so often that I have to like take notes for it to be memorable. You know what I mean? To remember it because it happens so often.
Or just record it when it happens.
Right, exactly. I thought about that since I got that GoPro. I was going to like just like walk around when I'm out and about and like a body cam, like I'm a cop.
Yeah.
Right.
But you know, I'm just recording ignorant people.
I'm just recording. You know, you never know when you're going to encounter stupid. They might be good to get on film.
I like it.
So yeah, that was my moment. So, word. Oh, I guess we're gonna do. The other part we were gonna do is we're gonna go into like shit that's happening this week. So
yeah, kind of like a current event bash.
Yeah. So stuff that everybody's kind of like talking about. Current event bash. Current events. It sounds like I'm having to do a fucking English paper.
Ugh.
That's what they always say. Current events.
Does it sound okay? Well, I guess yeah.
Current events paper.
That's why
you
I
ever
put
do one
bash.
of those?
So I put bash at the end of it. Sounds like a party.
Exactly. Yeah, I don't know. We'll have to come up with a better name for that because like current events just make.
Here's what's happening in your world tonight.
Right. Right. Go fuck yourself, San Diego. All right. So yeah. So the shit that's happened this week. That's like I guess it's going to be stuff that like some stuff I don't give a fuck about.
Well,
like what we were talking earlier before we started the show was Anne Heche. Apparently, like she's an actress. I don't know if anybody knows who Anne Heche is. She was in a car accident and died or whatever. I don't care. Like,
yeah, that's
condolences to your family, but I don't care.
That happens to be kind of in the entertainment news right
now.
So.
So that's like current like cutting edge events or whatever. But like,
I'm thinking
it's not something I have an opinion about. You know what I mean? I saw her in a couple movies, whatever. You know.
Well, I mean, she was on narcotics, so it's kind of like
you're right.
I don't want to be a douche to the family. I'm like, okay, moving on. Like
right. She could have OD'd.
Well, I mean, she pretty much did apparently.
And then, she's the one that caused while she was driving.
Yeah, well, not OD while she was driving, but she was high driving, all fucked up, ended up wrecking her car.
Okay, yeah.
And then the explosion, and then it was terrible.
Well, I was like I'd be more interested in, also happened this week was Marshawn Lynch. I know you don't.
Yeah, got DUI. Yeah.
Did you see his wheel? The dude was driving and with the outside of the rim ripped off.
Yeah. They have there's body cam footage of the whole interaction.
Right. And the one chick, the one lady cop, she was like, have you ever seen anything like this where somebody rides the rim off? Like, it was crazy. It was just the spoke of the rim left. This shit was wild. They didn't even play that shit up. And they're actually, what they ask him? They asked him questions. He's answering them like
footage of Marshawn Lynch being arrested.
Yeah, play the shit.
His car was wrecked, and according to
they had to like drag him out.
Alcohol.
Oh, they asked him like, did you steal this car? And he was like, yeah.
Yeah, like.
Yeah, see the whole interaction.
Look at the whole
time.
front. Look, it's on the caliper.
Yeah, dude.
The wheel of that Shelby GT. It was about 7:30 in the morning.
Yeah, dude, it's just the spoke.
7:30 in the morning,
including the front tire was completely gone. It was missing. Police say the car was not running at the time. Watch what happens when officers question.
Yeah, they'll start questioning. Watch.
Is this your car?
He said no.
Not your car?
It's like he said,
this is like his NFL interviews.
Right. He's like, whose car is it? And he's like, throws up his hands like, I don't fucking
I don't know
know.
who that is. Bro.
He's like whispering something.
Do you know who you are?
He says no.
Nope.
He shakes his head.
What if he pulled out a bag of Skittles?
So somebody said he's OD'd on Skittles.
Did you steal the car? Yes.
Yes, he's like admitted to stealing his own
So
fucking
we
car.
reach out to Lynch's attorney. They say that he wasn't pulled over for
Safe-
DUI and that the car was safely parked and not in operation. They
Okay,
say
I
they
mean,
expect him
what
to
is-
be cleared.
Well, I mean, had that car
All right,
get
Does
there.
have
Stop
full
that.
hearings
So, all right. So, okay, if it was just parked, not in operation, right? Which is technically true. So they roll up on him, and he was not driving the vehicle. But the thing is that doesn't matter if if you got
He's
the
in the
keys with you
driver's
in the
seat.
driver's seat, it doesn't
Yeah,
matter.
it's
Then the question is, okay, all right, who drove it till the rim fell off?
well. That's what I'm saying. Is there any skid marks behind the vehicle?
Did somebody show up and like just metal cut the fucking rim off? Like, it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, like I don't. The whole thing to me. But yeah, it's funny you brought that up. I saw that yesterday because he's famous for like his ridiculous interviews.
Oh yeah,
Like
this
where
is
he
the most
says like
ridiculous
two
one yet.
things, and then she was like, "Is this your car?" He's like, I don't know whose car
Right.
this is. They have
It's like,
80,
she's like, I don't know. He's like, did you steal it?
$80,000
Yes.
Mustang. He's like, I don't know.
Fucking crazy. dude.
7:30 in the morning.
And then he's like saying, he was saying something, and he was not wanting to get out or whatever, so they just drug him out, and it was like the most like
was the slowest.
lazy drag out. Like he didn't resist at all. He just kind of like took it, and he just kind of like
He was like, I'm into this now.
right, right, exactly. He like went limp.
Yeah, dude, I saw that yesterday. I don't know if it was the day before that I finally hit, but I was like, damn,
he
man.
was fucked up.
He was, hammered.
That was great. But so like, okay, so that is an altercation with a vehicle or an event with a vehicle that I cared about because it was hilarious.
It was hilarious.
And hey, I don't care.
Well, yeah, been burning up in a fiery crash is not as funny as getting DUI.
Well, yeah, not funny, but also like I don't care. Like,
Yeah.
what's she been in recently? You know what I mean? Yeah, and even
She used to be in Ellen, wasn't she?
or Ellen used to be in Her.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure she was a lesbo back in the Disney. I think I
They
want
were
to say
trying it out.
we could look it up, but don't look it up because I don't care.
Yeah. You gotta be careful when you look that up.
Right,
There might be some lookalikes.
right, exactly. Well, you just just Google who was in Ellen.
Oh.
Who's been in Ellen?
Hell,
No,
she's
I'm just
been
kidding.
married
Don't do
I was
that.
gonna say, I don't.
Don't do that.
Might be someone else named Ellen.
Right, don't do that. But
Might show up Elliot. That one. You don't want that.
yeah. No, but I mean, like, if it was a more famous actor, it might if it was
Yeah, I mean,
crazy,
it sucks, but yeah,
crazy
it's
more
not.
circumstance.
That's not the
that's
news
something
I was
care
talking about for sure.
No. So yeah, we were kind of like workshopping before the episode, but like some shit that happened this week, that everybody's kind of talking about, that we care about, that we have opinions about.
Well, it kind of
whatever.
affects everyone in a way.
So I would say probably the number one thing that happened this week was the new CDC guidance.
Oh, dude.
The fact that I think nobody's really kind of talking about it in like the news circles, besides some like right leaning outlets, but nobody in the mainstream is really like
They don't admit you're wrong.
Well, they admit they're reporting it, but they're not really talking about like, are you fucking serious?
Oh, it's a joke.
So we got to pull it up here. So like here's the new CDC guidance. This is the guidance. This is the bullet points, right, for COVID-19. Which is all right. So here's the big differences. New recommendations. So the CDC's COVID-19 prevention guidance will no longer differentiate by whether people are up to date on their vaccinations.
Vaccinated or unvaxxed.
So whether you're
were.
vaxxed or unvaxxed, they're like, we don't care anymore.
We don't care anymore.
Great. Remember how we dealt with that for a fucking year, where it was like, this is the pandemic of the unvaccinated.
Oh, we were segregated.
Right.
Let's cause a bigger divide.
Right.
Yeah.
And then it comes out. Then it came out. It was like, people that are vaccinated are also transmitting it as well. It doesn't stop transmission.
That's correct.
Right. You fuckheads. And then, all right, here's the next one is testing to screen for COVID-19 will no longer be recommended in most places for people who do not have COVID symptoms. Okay, so like everyday life.
Yeah, when you cough, you don't have to go get tested anymore.
Right. So if I have no symptoms, I no longer have to get tested for COVID-19. Who the fuck was getting tested when they didn't have symptoms? Was that a thing?
Yeah, people were doing it because if they were around it, but no symptom would go get tested to make sure they didn't have it from being
Yeah, but
around
it's saying
people.
like testing to. Okay, they're just doing a screen.
That's it.
So they're screening everybody regardless.
That's correct.
Well, I mean, where was that actually happening? I mean, I know I guess maybe one of the testing things, because they don't really specify on what type of test. Because testing to screen, one of the things that we had to do at work was we had to like check our temperature, and they were doing that actually a lot of places,
which is a joke,
which is fucking stupid anyway. So maybe that's what they kind of mean. I guess that if screening of any type, they no longer recommend any kind of COVID screening for the unsymptomatic or symptom. Of course, if you're symptomatic,
of course,
I should just fucking stay home anyway.
I like this one too. CDC says people who have tested positive for COVID can stop wearing masks if their symptoms have improved, and they test negative twice in a row.
Initially on the 6th day after their infection began, and then again on the 8th day. So,
but if you're not, but all this negates, because if you don't have any symptoms, then what's the point in even testing anymore?
So it's like so they're saying that if you're unsymptomatic, whether you have symptoms or not, you no longer have to do testing to screen people. But if you do have symptoms, you don't have to wear a mask. The fuck?
You realize when this first started, the only thing different is there is a vaccine now. That's the only thing that changed, and people were still getting it when there was vaccinations going around. Didn't make any sense.
So here's the last bullet point: and the CDC says that to limit societal and economic impacts, quarantine of exposed persons is no longer recommended, regardless of vaccination status. Okay, so let me read that again. To limit social and economic impacts, quarantine is basically no longer recommended. Go fuck yourself. Where were you 2 years ago?
That's what I'm saying. If this doesn't infuriate people, you're an idiot.
And the thing is,
you bought into this shit.
When someone was trying to say, "Oh, well, it's different. The pandemic was so much worse earlier," it's like,
no.
Here's the difference, though. We've had the vaccine for over a year. That was the turning point. Once you had the vaccine and it was available for everybody, that you could get one, especially people, and we're not talking about kids, because kids were not dying of this thing in mass numbers. It was not. It was older people. Obviously, it was and people with comorbidities, obesity,
underlying health issues,
and all that kind of stuff. I've heard someone say, "Well, that's like 80% of the population." No, it's not all comorbidities. It's certain ones.
Exactly.
It's not if you have like a bad knee, that's not a fucking comorbidity for COVID. Okay, yeah. Right? It's not if you have arthritis. That's not the same. It's certain ones like obesity, diabetes, heart disease. Those are the ones. Asthma. Those are the ones. Hypertension. I heard was one. Like if you have stuff like those will affect your COVID outcome.
Exactly.
Right. Not everything. So that made no fucking sense to me. So once we had the vaccine, and you could get one, even at the time, the idea was you get the vaccine, you no longer could catch it, you won't die because you won't catch it, right? And you couldn't transmit it to anybody. Well, as time went on, that became less and less true, right? Mm-hmm. But it doesn't matter. There was nothing that happened recently that makes this CDC guidance make sense, right? This guidance made sense a year ago. Why is it now coming out?
That's what I'm saying. And then all of a sudden, here lately too, they've had all these, in the last year, they had all these natural remedies, involving more vitamin D, the zinc, upping all that, steroid packs. So we're treating it like a really bad cold.
Yeah, exactly.
And I love this bottom section.
I was doing this in June.
Anyway.
I was doing this June of 2020.
Yeah, this was all, I've already had
or 21.
And I like how it's like the limit social. I'm like, you shut down businesses. People lost their jobs and their businesses over this bullshit. Let's just put it up at the top. We overreacted.
Yeah,
and and nobody wanted to get the vaccine at first because it was the Trump vaccine.
They're like, we're late to the party.
It was the Trump vaccine. Go fuck yourself. This is stupid.
That last bullet point really pisses me off because the fact that they're admitting that their COVID, their CDC guidance,
their guidance was garbage.
Their guidance has actually had an impact on social and economic.
Yes.
The fact that they're admitting that their guidance, and now they're saying, well, in order to not affect the social and economic outcomes of people, we're going to loosen our restrictions. So they're admitting that what they were doing was having an actual impact. I'm sure they've always admitted that, but why now? This is a year ago.
And I love when people go get tested. I'm like, what? Why do you go get tested?
You know what the reason why?
It's a conversation piece at that point. Why go get it if there's no cure and why go get tested?
Yeah, there's no point. I don't see why unless you like if you're just sick at home.
If your curiosity you just want to know if you've had it.
Okay,
great.
So for instance, I first time I got COVID, we talked about this, I think, last week.
Yeah.
But I got COVID, and I took a test, and I wanted to know if I was sick, and I just wanted to know if it was COVID. My reasoning was I wasn't trying to like get off work for 5 days. I actually hated that because I used up way too much time. I didn't really have. It was because if I know 100% that I had COVID, then I can have that as a response to anybody that questions my vaccination status.
Which now no longer is a problem.
Now it doesn't fucking matter, right? They don't
They
care
made
if you're
this such a
vaccinated or not,
huge deal.
right? So that's the reason why I did it. The second time I ended up getting sick, it was the same time there was like I was around other people that had COVID that was confirmed, and that's probably what I had. Why did I explain to me? Someone explained to me why I needed to get tested. If I knew I already had COVID, so now I have immunity, and everybody else around me is getting COVID for the second time or the first time, whatever, and now I feel sick with similar symptoms. I didn't have all the symptoms, but some of them, right? So it was obviously milder. So say if it was COVID, I already had the immunity for it. Why do I need to get tested for it? Whenever my symptoms were mild and I recovered pretty quickly, I didn't have all the same symptoms as everybody else. It could have been the flu. It could have been a cold. It could have been Zika virus. It could have been whatever. Who cares? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Why did I need to get tested? But people were still like, "Oh, you got to go get tested. You got to get tested." And they were testing for every time they get the sniffles. They were getting tested.
I love too. Whenever people before this came out, it was even if you've had it, you can come back to work or wherever. Just wear a mask the entire time. I'm like,
now
great.
they're only saying
I was
don't
like,
have to
well,
do
not
that.
now. I meant before.
Right.
So now I like it. When that was happening, I'm like, cool. These people can come in that had, let's say, it did affect the respiratory. Now they can try to breathe all day through a mask and
Right.
cough in the mask all day.
Right.
Like it's. This will literally go down as one of the most piss poor handled situations of all time.
100%. And here's the thing that I don't think people think about or understand.
Fear mongered for 2 years.
Well, here's what I think that gets lost in all this COVID talk is the fact that some people have mentioned this, and I've heard these arguments, but it's not really broadly talked about. Is first of all, they can't bring out this guidance, and everybody pretty much across the board, besides the crazy COVID cult, to where they're like, oh well, it's because new data has come out and it's different, and so these guidance is justified. It's like, what new data? And you ask me, like, what are you talking about? What new data? Well, give me a number. What number were we waiting to get down to where this guidance now needs to come out this way? Like, this makes sense a year ago in my mind.
It makes sense.
Right? This is what should have come out a year ago when the vaccine was available. Right? Essentially.
Yeah.
Especially whenever the vaccine came out later and they were like, oh, and also you can still transmit it and you could still get sick and
it just
lessens your chance of death. That's when this should have come out.
Right.
Right? Especially whenever you're talking about like people losing their jobs or whatever.
Yeah.
So the thing I think gets lost in here is that this guidance comes out and everyone pretty much across the board, besides I said like the COVID cult, is like, wait, what the fuck? This doesn't make. What are y'all talking about? So your guidance now, you're finally saying that we're allowed to do the thing that the majority of us have been doing for the past year.
Yeah.
That is, where have you been?
I mean, thank God
and
where
so
we
now
live, it wasn't hit.
Well, so now my thinking is like, everybody is now looking at the CDC, you're a bunch of morons. So what this does now, in my mind, is so much of the medical establishment, the CDC, the WHO, the NIH, the alphabet soup of different agencies in the health our health establishment they've lost all their credibility. So whenever something actually does come around that is a serious threat, like people are talking about monkeypox and they're trying to make a big fucking deal about monkeypox, and no one's getting monkeypox except a very specific group that is doing a specific activity that they just need to fucking stop, orgies, and you're good. You know what I'm saying? Like nobody's walking around the street and catching monkeypox. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I love how too in the last call it what you want under this particular administration, this last 2 years, whatever, has new things like this. Where has this been?
Well,
Monkey, where the fuck did monkey really monkey? And then like every day there's something new, like every day.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
This is insane.
So say something does come around that is a really big fucking deal.
Yeah,
right. We're talking about bubonic plague type shit.
we're not going to believe any of it.
We're going to be like immediately skeptical. Everybody should be skeptical, but now we're going to be like, yeah, get the fuck out of here.
You're full of shit.
I don't fool me once.
And I hope too. But now this is out. I hope starting this week when I see like Hollywood shows on TV and such, which of course Hollywood always has like they take it and blow it up.
Oh, they're
But
probably
I like
the
how
COVID
there's
cult.
still people in masks in TV shows. So I'm like, I like it now that now the big brother here has said you don't have to do that anymore. They'll have all of it off, and they'll act like. I hope all the people that were crying wolf and like you got to be tested the full 2 mask double layers. I hope they're all off now. I'm like, you're a jackass because they told you it's okay.
Oh yeah, that's the COVID cult. Is
Yeah,
what I'm talking
it's
about.
so
The people that
stupid.
they take they think that because someone has a credentialed education, like they're PhD,
They're an expert.
they're a doctor, and they're a quote expert. Like you can find a fucking expert about anything, and
Everybody's
you can
an
find,
expert now.
You could go. I guarantee you, I could go online and find two experts that have totally differing opinions about, or evidence or facts or whatever about the same subject on the polar opposites.
Absolutely.
Because what qualifies somebody as a quote expert, right? It's just credentials. They have a PhD, they have a doctorate or whatever, or they're worked in this industry for 20 years or where. Like Fauci, who's a fuckhead, he hasn't actually like done any like actual scientific work for decades. He's just a bureaucrat at this point. So he's not an expert in anything except keeping his own job.
Yeah, which now he's retiring.
Yeah, I feel like I don't know. That dude, I feel like is like just clamoring to fame at this point. He
loves it.
He loves that shit. He was on every station. He loved to hear himself talk.
Dude, my dad gets fired about him. He said he should be arrested. He should be in prison.
Oh yeah. Well, did you hear like he had an interview? I don't remember. It was some sort of intellectual interview, maybe like at a university or something like that, where he was like being interviewed by like somebody at a college or something. I think it was a college, and he said something like. He's like, and he uses a lot of times he refers to himself in the third person. He's like, Fauci, represent like truth, stability, consistency. Like, really, dude?
You butter your own biscuit right now? What is
Pretty much.
happening?
He basically like pulled down his pants and like jerked off on stage.
Like I said, if this doesn't infuriate everybody, it sucks.
That would piss me off, especially the fact that last one just really kills me. To limit social and economic impacts.
Really?
Quarantine is no longer.
They should just put another dot that says "my bad."
I know. Be like, the red states were right.
Yeah, thank God we live in one.
Pretty much. I know, dude.
It lasted 6 weeks here.
Thank
Everybody's
God we
like,
live
I'm
in
done with
Tennessee. Yeah, pretty much. If anybody outside live in Tennessee, if you live in a blue state, I'll just let you know. When COVID hit, it was what, like April of 21, something like that.
Something like
March,
that.
April. Yeah, it was March because we did the 2 weeks to flatten the curve. 2 weeks to
That's right.
15 days to slow the spread. That's hilarious now. And then it turned into, okay, we're going to go to the end of April, or is something like that. Like end of April is April 30th. Remember Trump talking about that? So this was 2020 then. Yeah. 2020, not 21. 2020. By June, we were opening back up.
Oh yeah, we were good. You couldn't even tell.
By June, July, businesses were opening back up. We still had mask protocols and testing protocols. Every business was doing that. That's fine. But businesses were open back up. We were open for business on June, pretty much full capacity at that point. Some people work from home, and they had, like I said, you had the grocery stores with the lines, which nobody followed. The arrows in the aisles. Like
looking back, we look stupid.
we look so
We
dumb.
look so dumb.
Right. I kind of wish the aliens would come down and like show us like
What the fuck is this?
the aliens would come down and be like, hey, we've been watching you guys for the past 2 years. Here's a montage of all the stupid.
Oh, there'll be one on
my
YouTube.
God.
We could YouTube one, and there'll be one. I guarantee it.
And they would be like, yeah, we're going to go back to our home planet. This place is fucking
Yeah, they're like, our world's collapsing, but this is much. Yeah,
we don't want to hang out with you idiots anymore.
But yeah, it sucks.
Yeah, so just to let you guys know in on that, the CDC is now basically coming out and saying our guidance is to do what the red states have been doing for the past year and a half.
Yeah, and look it up too if you want more details. That's the bullet
Fuck
points
them.
of it. But yeah, check it out. It's ridiculous, man. It's infuriating.
Fuck them, dude. Seriously, I can't trust anything that they say. Honestly, I think at some point, I wouldn't say a full purge is necessary, but somebody needs to go in here and like
Clean house.
on this one and like audit the whole structure from the top to bottom. Everybody, it's kind of like that scene in Office Space when they got those two guys, Bob and Bob, come in
Yeah.
and they basically ask everybody, what do you do for your job, to see if it's necessary because they got to make cuts. That needs to happen, but for pretty much every government agency in my mind. CDC, WHO is an international
Speaking
organization.
of government agencies, we're about to get to another one.
Oh yeah, here's another fucking alphabet soup agency.
Let's get into it.
You want to talk about the IRS?
Yeah.
The IRS one. Okay, so the IRS is basically they've got a bunch of money. Was it $80 billion? $80 billion.
Yeah, so it says here
to hire 70-something thousand.
Supposed to receive over the next decade. So according to...
Yeah, it's going to take a while to hire all these people, but it's like 76, 77, 72,000.
It says they want to be able to collect at least $400 billion of over the course of the next 10 years of, I guess, back taxes. Yeah.
Yeah.
To help collect $600 billion in taxes that go unpaid every year.
Okay, so let's break this down. But it's like, how many agents is it? It's like 80. It's 87,000, I think. 87,000 agents.
I'm about to look.
Find that number.
I'm looking.
It's something like that. Let's just say that. Let's just say 80,
go ahead. I'll find it.
80-something thousand. No big deal. We don't need the specific number. Who cares?
Well, I'm curious now because I had to look into this.
Yeah, there you go. 87,000. Boom. Right there.
Not hiring.
They're not hiring. Yeah, okay. Well, the thing is, they're saying IRS is not hiring 87,000 new agents to audit the middle class. Okay, all right. Let's say that that's. Then who the fuck are they auditing? How many agents do you need to audit the super rich? You need 87,000 agents to audit the. So what are they saying?
This right here is saying recently passed the Inflation Reduction Act of 22. Allow the IRS to increase audits to middle class.
This is like a fact check thing. So that's what the claim. This is false. All right. So what we found. So go down. What is this fact check saying? They said it's over a 10-year period. Okay, gotcha.
Here we go.
Blah blah blah. The bill does not mention the agents. Go down. Wait. So what are they saying, Seer? Said.
Yeah, right there. $45.6 billion of that IRS funding would be toward expenses for IRS tax enforcement services.
Okay.
Including hiring more employees.
But the bill
doesn't
does not
mention them
mention-
hiring 87,000 new agents.
You got to read the wording on these
you do.
things. Hold on a second. So you got to read this down. So it says, but the bill does not mention that the agency will hire 87,000 new agents specifically tasked with audits. Blah blah blah. It says the Treasury Department says these claims are false. So the text says it doesn't specify a number. Okay, hold on. The 87,000 number shows up on a report from the Treasury Department that estimated more funding allocated would allow the IRS to hire nearly that many.
That is correct.
Okay, that is one of those word trickery things. Well, because the bill doesn't say you must hire 87,000 new employees, but here's money that will allow you to hire 87,000 employees. What the fuck is the difference?
Yeah.
That's a difference without a distinction. Or a distinction without a difference, the other way around, right? So they're saying, oh, here's a bunch of money that's allocated. It's like if you were an employer and you got budgeted a bunch of money to hire new employees, and that's what that money was for, but they didn't say you had to hire those people. Well, were you just going to sit on the money? No, you're going to hire those people, right?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You're going to not just sit on it. If someone's giving you this money saying, hey, this is for this thing, and you don't go do that thing, that's on you. That doesn't make any sense. So that's not how the government works whenever they allocate this money. If they allocate money for something, they're going to fucking spend it. If they're not going to spend it on that, they're going to spend it on something else.
Exactly.
So to say that it's that they earmarked this for hiring, and they say, well, because they're not specifically saying you have to hire 87,000, but that's how many you could with that money, then that's what that is. So that's what the thing about these fucking fact checks is they play these goofy word games, right? But it's you have to look at it from like practically, what does this mean, right? So practically, it is a true statement that they're going to hire 87,000.
Yeah, well, they said that,
or say it's not 87,000. Say it's 70,000. Okay, so now the entire claim is false because it's 17,000 less than what they said, than what the claim is. Well, what's the fucking difference? 70,000 new agents is way too many. And talking about it's not going to be for the middle class, bullshit. They've already talked about how they are going to start monitoring people that do Venmo transactions more than $600. right? Well, what billionaire is doing Venmo transactions
for $600?
You know what I mean? Exactly. It's so fucking stupid.
And then everybody made a big deal too with it says there'll be like one of the big sections I looked at was, oh, by the way, this was that tweet right there.
Nobody
They'll be hiring. They're hiring agents, but I just read about it on the IRS.
Yeah, read the requirements for read
so
that requirement.
So I actually went here. It's actually on their website.
Yeah, right. Key requirements.
But it's special. You're a special agent with the IRS. So like I don't know why that was such a big deal. Maybe I read into that wrong.
No, it's not like saying they're hiring 87,000 armed
guards.
No,
I know that.
That's
what happened is someone took that out of context and they said that because they were talking about the IRS is firing up a militia. And I'm like,
oh yeah, they go too
that's
far
not
with
true.
that.
I was like, that's not true.
It's going to be a bunch of fucking Excel spreadsheet wizard
what they
pencil
said.
pushing
They said
bitches is what it's going to be.
It said within 5 years, 50,000 employees will retire or otherwise leave the IRS.
Yeah, but this is additional.
Oh yeah, no, it's crazy.
This is an additional amount. So if they already have a certain workforce that's allocated money, right? So they say the workforce is 50,000 people in the IRS. I don't know how many people are actually in the IRS. I think it's something like that, some 50, 70,000, which is insane to me anyway. See, there you go. In 2021, the IRS had less than 80,000 employees. So say it's 75,000 employees, for instance, that are in the IRS right now. They're allocating to basically double the workforce of the IRS. When the U.S. population is not doubled, the amount of billionaires is not doubled,
Yeah,
the amount of millionaires is not doubled. Maybe it has, but they're not going after the super wealthy.
No,
because there's not 87,000 billionaires.
You're talking about 1% of the population.
Or say we get with the IRS workforce, say it'll get up to 150,000 employees. 150,000 employees with one government agency, have 150,000 employees by the end of the decade.
Yeah, I mean,
and you're saying that you need that many people to audit for $600 billion
in back taxes,
and it's back taxes all from the super wealthy. Bullshit.
Oh,
Bullshit.
Yeah, they pay more taxes than we do.
You know what you know what I actually think it is? I think it's for blockchain. I think it's for crypto. I think crypto is starting to catch on.
Oh, yeah.
And more people are doing these transactions that are decentralized. They're not going through a standard banking institution to do these transactions.
It's like almost under the table payments.
Crypto is peer-to-peer. It's basically like me Venmoing you without Venmo.
Yeah.
Right? It's a fully 100% certified transaction, right? That because it's decentralized and the entire network has to check and certify that transaction, so you can't fake it or falsify it, right? And there's no banking institution involved in it, so people can kind of move money around without anybody else knowing. Is essentially that's what it's for. And why else would it be for that, right?
I think you're right. I mean, I always tell everybody that because I know a few people that are involved in that whole buying NFTs. So I'm like that ship will eventually sail. This is not. There's no longevity in this. I'm here to tell you.
In what?
And that kind of stuff. We're talking about the NFTs.
Oh, we're on different wavelengths on that. Then the blockchain is here to stay, and it's only going to get bigger.
Are you talking about the whole crypto transactions and all that whole thing?
The blockchain is the technology behind cryptocurrency.
Okay, then I misheard you. Then okay, my bad.
Cryptocurrency is here to stay, and it's only going to get bigger. NFTs is a different thing. NFTs are non-fungible tokens. Is what NFT stands for.
Yeah, goofy.
That's not always what it is. NFT is, like I said, it's a non-fungible. I mean, you cannot replicate it, you can't falsify it, you can't duplicate it. It is the original. But they just took that NFT concept and applied it to a fucking goofy artist rendition of a ape smoking a cigar or whatever, in a fucking captain's hat. Like, who get that? That's stupid. That's the fad.
So you think the whole Bitcoin thing's here to stay?
100%. 100%.
I've never bought into any of that shit. It just doesn't. To me, it sounds like some kind of bullshit video game thing. I just don't want to fool with it. To me, it sounds like people are just trying to get like a quick fix rich thing.
Well, yeah, I mean, you got that too, but that's no different than the stock market. But the stock market is real.
That's what I'm saying. It's real
and necessary and absolutely. People do make money on it, and without the stock market, you couldn't fund things.
So you think they're trying to collect money on all that shit?
Yeah,
that's been going on?
Listen, there's always going to be people that are going to find some sort of angle in order to make money or scam the system and all this kind of stuff. I get that, and the whole NFT thing where people were selling these goofy photos, and it was like, oh, mine's the original. Like, who gives a shit? I knew that was a fad. That was because we had too much money. And people were blowing it on dumb crap.
Dude, tons of money.
Right now, inflation is through the roof. The economy sucks, and now you haven't heard about the NFTs very much lately, right?
Right.
That type of NFT.
Yeah.
But say if here's an example I've heard of where NFTs have like a practical use is if it's a non-fungible token, meaning you can't replicate it. You could have an NFT that's a ticket for a concert, and you issue it out issue a ticket out digitally, and that nobody can scalp it.
That makes sense.
You get what I'm saying?
That'd be all right.
And if you were to transfer it to somebody, then you would have it certified with the network as decentralized. You don't have to worry about a third party certifying like Ticketmaster.
Yeah.
Right? It's just I have this ticket now because I bought it from somebody else, and I want to transfer it to you. That transfer will be certified. I can't claim that you stole it. I can't claim that that it was a duplicate or a fake or a ripoff or whatever. It's a way to digitally fingerprint something.
I got you.
Right? An NFT is how I understand that. So I mean that makes.
Well, I think I was associating
it's a security
with
thing.
The weird shit that I've read about too, with the paint, the bunky, anything.
Right,
That whole
you're
thing
seeing
to
the
me-
surface level
that
of
whole
people
thing to
being
me is
stupid about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was just like, I
That's
don't
what you're
fuck with
seeing.
this.
The underlying-
I've never looked into any of the Bitcoin,
The underlying-
crypto. I've never done any of that.
The underlying technology it's a security thing. It's making things more secure, and it's decentralized, meaning no one institution controls the flow of it. Right?
I got you.
It's a peer-to-peer thing. So kind of like how did you ever do like torrenting videos and stuff like that?
No.
Right.
I mean, I used to steal music.
But you
on
understand
LimeWire.
how that process works, right? That concept is
Yeah.
that if you have a movie and then you wanted to like
And you can download
you
a
could
copy
download it
of
from other
yeah.
people, right? And
That's
everybody
correct.
else would.
Oh yeah, I
give
know
you a
what it
piece
is
of-
because we do reports for it for work.
Right. And so it's kind of like the blockchain is kind of like that on how it's decentralized. Is
Yeah.
you're not getting it from one specific source. It's not like I normally, everyday folks they wanted a movie, they'd go to Blockbuster, they'd go to the store, and they'd have to buy it, and that's how they have the copy.
Yeah.
Right. So you have to go to Walmart. So now Walmart or a video store or whatever is the gatekeeper for you getting access to the movie. Well, when you went to peer-to-peer stuff, there is no gatekeeper. Everybody is sharing it, right, and certifying that, yeah, I have a copy of that movie. Here, you can have a piece of it so you can get the whole, right? That's kind of like how the blockchain works.
Okay, I got you.
Is there's no gatekeeper.
So you think that's with all that $600 billion that they're after?
That's what I think. I think that's what the blockchain is here to stay. Crypto is going to get bigger and bigger. Eventually, all these shit coins that they have out here, like Dogecoin and Safe Moon, and there was even like a MAGA coin, right, and all that kind of bullshit. Those are all goofy shit coins. Those are eventually going to go away because they're not going to be widely used. But the ones that have the name recognition is like Bitcoin, Ethereum. People know what those are, and they trust those because they're used. People are buying and selling with Bitcoin now, with crypto. A lot of brick and mortar stores and retailers and big companies are accepting Bitcoin as a transaction. I mean, I know like it's going to be, and I think is a good thing, because you know what you can't do with Bitcoin, with crypto. We're talking about the other thing that's happened this week was like inflation's high as fuck and Biden's claim is down to 0.
Yeah, it's
right?
like 8.7%,
Well,
wasn't it? Almost 9.
The thing with crypto that you can't do is you can't print more of it. Like there's a whole reason why we're in this inflation business.
Oh yeah, because we're just
they
like just print more money.
You can't do that with crypto.
That's kind of nice. I haven't researched enough of it to give an opinion on it.
I'm telling you.
Oh, I know. No, I'm taking that. I'm just saying I myself, I don't know anything about it. When people start talking about it, I'm just like, nah, I just leave the room. Well, to me, it sounds stupid.
We used to be on the gold standard, and so the money was tied to an actual physical thing that you couldn't make more of. You had to dig more of it out of the ground, right? So it used to be tied to something tangible. Now, the dollar is just a credit note. Mm-hmm. It's just a note of credit, right? So if they print more of it, that one you have is worth less, right? Because there are more of them in circulation. Well, you can't do that with crypto. You couldn't do that with gold, right? If you put more money, more gold suddenly went onto the market, yeah, it could drop the value, but then it stabilizes, right? It's the reason why precious metals has always, traditionally been stable. It's the reason why some people have it in their safes and shit like that, because it's supposed to help against inflation. As the dollar goes down in value, gold and silver and those precious metals stay the same.
Yeah.
Right? Crypto will be the same way. Once it evens out, it'll be like basically the new gold standard, essentially, because you can't make more of it. It's only a limited supply because of the way the technology works. It's a lot harder and harder to mine more and more to eventually there won't be enough supercomputing power to be able to shit out another coin, right? Because it's just diminishing returns. So that's what I think that they're doing this for. But it's here to stay, and that's the reason why they want to be able to control how that stuff works. So they're going to start auditing people doing crypto transactions, right? And Venmo is another one, right? I know that was another thing that they were talking about was that if I bought and sold stuff person to person, and you did a Venmo transaction, I'm not sure if that really was something that the IRS could really track if you were making a profit. Say if I was making a craft, I was making something or I was doing a service, and I was like, "Oh, just Venmo me." That's income, right?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Right? If I was, and say I was doing, I don't know what the max amount you can transfer on Venmo,
Never had that much.
Or Cash App or one of all these other ones. That's income. You have to report your income. Well, I'm not sure if the IRS was actually had the ability to track that. I'm not sure.
This might be their fuck up. They're trying to fix it.
So I think now they're saying like, okay, they're getting a bunch of agents to be able to monitor more of these different ways people are transferring money and services and stuff. So in crypto, I think crypto is the biggest part of that. So,
I could bite on that
because the government's full of power hungry fuckheads.
Yes,
in my opinion. Which is a broader point that I've made before. Is I think people, we're talking about these agencies, IRS, CDC, and all these quote experts. My thinking about government agencies and pretty much anything is you're at your job, right? You look around, there's some competent people there, but there's a lot of people that don't know what the fuck they're talking about. There's a lot of idiots around. We just talked about that lady in the line, and then idiots everywhere. Marshawn Lynch getting drunk. One of the other things like Brittany Griner, the whole situation with her with the bringing CBD oils or whatever she was bringing into Russia. Like, you're dumb. All right, there's dumb people everywhere, right? Well, just because you get to the government level
doesn't mean
you automatically you're smarter.
You don't get a pass.
Right. Dumb people. There are a lot of successful, stupid people.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
That's fact.
Like, you go even further back. Sitting in your classroom when you're in school, in high school, there's a lot of dumbasses around. Well, those dumbasses grow up, they get jobs. Sometimes they fail upwards. They get lucky. They know somebody that knows somebody, they get them a job, and they just keep going upwards. It doesn't make it, they're not any smarter. I think most of all this government fuckery is just incompetence. People are just incompetent, and they're all faking it till they make it.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's what everybody's doing. And just because you have an expert title doesn't make that any less true.
I agree to that.
You know what I'm saying?
Write that down, guys.
So, anarchy is what I'm advocating for.
Okay. Yep. Nicely said.
Just kidding.
But really,
I'm gonna have to
give you something to think about.
I'm going to be on fucking FBI list now.
What's funny you bring up the Brittany Griner. That's what I was going to get to next was how did you feel about her, she just had her sentencing last week.
Yeah. So Brittany Griner, for anybody who doesn't know, she's a WNBA basketball player. I'm about to say football. Basketball player. So who cares? Nobody watches. And she apparently in their off season they'll go play in like Russia.
Yeah, they'll go do like a European league.
Something. So she's been playing in Russia, and I think from what I understand is that she had been doing this for years, and she had been bringing some CBD, THC, some weed, like marijuana like products of some kind to help with like pain or stress or whatever. And a lot of the athletes do that. I don't care what they say. I know they're not supposed to do. Not supposed to do drugs, and they'll get caught and they get tested, all this kind of bullshit. But they do that stuff, which is fine. Like, I don't care. Vape cartridges. There you go.
Yeah, so it says that she was caught in her luggage in the Moscow airport in Russia, said derived from cannabis, which could carry a maximum penalty of 10 years.
Right. Okay. So so everybody, whatever the details are, it doesn't matter. Is that she got caught with a controlled substance that Russia has
that does not allow.
Illegal. That doesn't allow. Apparently, what I understand, she had been doing this for a while, but they finally either caught her or, this is one of those things where like they caught her, but they probably knew about it already. You know what I'm saying? But they now finally didn't want to like turn a blind eye to it because of the whole tensions between the U.S. and Russia currently via Ukraine. So that's my thinking is that they were like, okay, fine then, U.S., you want to like supply money to Ukraine to like fight us, which you can have your opinion on that, or whether that's a good thing to do or not. I don't care. The point is that Russia is now like, okay, fine, we're going to all the people
that's
that are
exactly
over here,
what happened.
We're going to use these as bargaining chips.
Yes.
At this point now, so that's what's happened. Whether I don't care how it went down, how she got caught
Since the European conflict.
She's an American, a famous one, semi-famous. She's only famous because the news is talking about her because this happened. Nobody fucking knew who
I had
Brittany
no
Griner
idea
was.
she
before
was.
this
She's won
happened.
2 gold medals, and I have
like
no
literally
idea who
nobody.
she is.
Someone actually made a joke. It's like, well, thanks to Brittany Griner, we all can now name at least one WNBA player.
It's true.
Which is true. I can't name another one.
I have
not
no
a
idea.
single
I don't
one.
know when their season is.
Right? Even people that are into sports, I guarantee you could not name a WNBA player besides Brittany Griner now. Right? So who gives a shit? That's the only reason why this is really happening. She got sentenced to 9 years, and she's all like, sorry or whatever. But my thing is, here's my basic opinion about it. 9 years is a little much for the amount that she had on.
I agree. It's a bit harsh.
9 years is a bit much. The fact that so I have like multiple thoughts about this. So that's thought number one, is that's a little bit much. Thought number two, yeah, but it's Russia's laws. You know that, and you broke it anyway. And also, why would you? Like, nobody looks at Russia and be like, oh, they have a well-running justice system. Like, come on. They put people in gulags for political dissent. So why would you risk getting involved, getting roped in the penal system, the justice system in Russia? Why would you risk that? It makes no sense.
Well, that's what and it's all.
So that's thought number two. Thought number three is I forgot what I was going with that. Thought number three is people getting all upset about that. Meanwhile, we got people in the States that are in prison for possession.
Mm-hmm.
So why are you all of a sudden all super upset because it's a WNBA player in a Russian prison, but you're not upset about an average person in a U.S. prison for the same fucking thing? Especially when we even have in different states in the union have it legal.
Yeah.
Right? So
Right.
It makes no sense. We have this like half in, half out mentality in our own country, and people are in prison for possession now. And you're going to get upset about a WNBA player in a Russian prison for the same thing? Like, save your tears. I'm sorry. Right? And then my final thought is also, I don't fucking care about this whole story in general.
Yeah, because this all, and I thought it was, I agree with you, it was a little harsh. I thought so too. But if that's their law, you're in their turf. Doesn't matter what I think.
Right.
You have to abide by their laws. And a lot of countries over there do not have zero tolerance for that shit.
Right.
So, and my other second thought was the fact that nowadays a lot of people think that they should be able to do what they want with no consequences.
Yeah.
She played a stupid game and she got a stupid prize. You got fucking caught, dude. You cannot bring that.
Yeah, I know.
You know that.
Right.
So I don't know what the argument against it. Well, nothing. You got caught.
Right. Well,
you got caught.
And people talk about like, they athletes will use this substance because it helps with their pain or whatever. I'm like, look, that may fine. I get that may be true, but it's not the only way you can get.
You're
rid of
not in
pain.
the States. You're not home.
And you're not home, and you're in a different situation. Understand the situation.
When you go to someone's house you've never met before, you try to put on a good first impression, right? They have different rules that you know than your house.
Right.
So don't be a piece of shit. Don't go to another country and be a piece of shit.
Right.
Sorry.
Should we advocate to like extradite her to come over to the States? 100%. I think we should. Do we need to give? There was literally legit talk about like giving up a known weapon smuggler.
Yeah. I saw
for
that.
her. Like, no, I'm sorry, that's not an equal trade. Nobody would make that trade.
Because she brought vape card. Let's give an arms dealer.
Right. Yeah, someone who I think they call him is like the Merchant of Death or some shit like that is his nickname or something. Like, we're going to give up that guy. Apparently he's like a Russian or Hungarian or something. And Russia wants him back. And we're like, we'll take Brittany Griner, WNBA player. Here's the Merchant of Death.
There's probably been other Americans in there been waiting, probably sitting in a Russian prison too. There's other people. She is not special because she plays basketball.
Right.
Sorry.
Oh, yeah.
No.
And, you know what? And the thing is like I think it is political. It's not just that she's quote a celebrity because she's
not a celebrity.
She's not.
She's an
Nobody
idiot.
fucking knew who she was. You know the real reason is because she's a black woman. She's a lesbian, the left loves that shit. They love to tout the WNBA,
absolutely.
right? And it's Biden is in the office right now.
Oh, man.
And that's the reason the media is making a big thing because that's the reason why
That is
we
the
give a
reason
fuck
why this
about
is on
Brittany
media.
Griner. You know how I know that is because there was a dude while Trump was president. Remember Otto Warmbier?
I don't think so.
He was a kid. He went over to North Korea, right, to do missionary work or something like that. And he like tore down some banners or something.
Oh,
and he
okay.
was like
Yeah.
passing out Bibles,
Now it's starting to come back.
right? Which is something that North Korea, like he went over to North Korea knowing that something like this could happen.
It's a communist country.
Right. So, but he's a missionary, so he knew he was getting into that kind of thing. So he eventually went to, but he didn't know it was going to be like, I feel like people that do that missionary type stuff, like they tell you and you know, what could happen, but in the back of your mind, you got to be like, yeah, but it's not going to happen to me.
Yeah, but I'll be fine.
I'll be fine.
Yeah, it's like being a smart ass to your parents.
Right. It's
Yeah.
not until it actually fucking happens you're like, oh shit. Right.
get a real
So that was
culture
probably
shock.
that situation. And he ended up going into the North Korean prison and they treated him terribly. And North Korea finally like gave him up. Right. And he came, was it North Korea or was it Russia? No, it was North Korea. North Korea finally gave him up and he was like dying. He was like in a coma and he died eventually. So when they finally gave him up, he was basically a shell of his former self. He was going to die anyway, right? It didn't matter. So that was going on back and forth. And I remember the media, especially the entertainment media, had zero sympathy for Otto Warmbier because they were saying the same things that we're saying right now. It was like, you broke the laws. But the thing is that here's the difference: is that we're saying she's gonna have to be able to in Russian prison, right? But the way she is going to be treated, it's going to suck, right? It's going to suck. But Otto Warmbier was literally killed by the North Koreans because they tortured him. He was malnourished, right? And all that kind of shit. But because he was I think a Christian and he was probably of the right and Trump was in office and Trump made it a thing, like he was talking about
left
it.
him in a vegetative state.
Right? The entertainment media especially didn't, and like all the celebrities in Hollywood didn't give a flying fuck. They were making jokes about Otto Warmbier, calling him like a frat boy that went over there and was causing trouble in North Korea, and so he deserved it.
Oh.
I remember this. I couldn't tell you I think like some of the late night hosts were making jokes about, like Seth Meyers was making jokes about it or whatever, is because he's on that certain side, and so fuck him. So now the roles are reversed, and it's even a more lenient situation, a better situation, was she's going to serve 9 years in a Russian prison, right? And now we're all fucking up in arms about it. It's a big fucking deal. How dare they? We got to trade for her. We got to sell the fucking farm to get her back, right? It's all super political, and it pisses me the fuck off.
He was 22 years old, dude.
And you can't tell me, like, seriously, if you really step back third party and you looked at that, you can't tell me what I'm saying right now is full of shit. I am not. That is 100% true. If Brittany Griner, say if it was somebody that was more right leaning that went over to Russia and got same thing, got caught with CBD shit, and was going to go to a Russian prison for 9 years, entertainment media would not give a flying fuck. You can't tell me I'm wrong.
Oh no, I know why this is all in the media.
Right.
But like you said, I don't really give a shit. As soon as a day or two, I was like, I'm done with this.
I know. I told somebody that I was like, it's harsh but true. In a couple of weeks, no one's going to care.
Nope.
That's just the way it is.
That's the way it is.
You know, we should care about some of this stuff, but we have such short attention spans. It's just not.
Well, it's like when someone tells you, like, if you don't care, you're a part of the problem. Like, no, fuck off. I'm not part of it. It doesn't affect my day to day, dude. Sorry, it doesn't.
Right.
It does not.
Well, it's like first world problems type thing. Where we all get up in arms about all these things, and it shows some of the stuff doesn't need to be a national issue. It's just a local issue for a lot of stuff.
To me, all that is someone who got busted. She's now a criminal.
Well, I'm talking about just in general, outside of her specific situation. But, you know, life is pretty good here.
Yeah, it's wonderful here.
Life is pretty fucking good here. And I think that we forget how bad it can be. Like, really bad it can be. Like, yeah, we had a recession in 2008. Okay, people lost their jobs, lost their houses. I get all that. But we weren't, like, rationing food.
No.
Like the Great Depression.
No, like,
that is different. That was real hard times.
We don't know hard.
We don't know hard.
We do not
we
know hard.
We know uncomfortable. We know inconvenient.
That's all we know.
But we don't know hard times. We really don't. No. Even COVID. Like, let's be real. Like, yeah, I get people die. People die all the time off all sorts of different things. We got thousands of people die of fucking heart attacks because they're too fat, and we don't do anything about that. You know what I'm saying? So, like, I get that. Death is inevitable. Okay, that's not something to call hard times, right? But you know, when we're having world war, that's hard times where you're having to like ration everything. Depression, that's hard times. The bubonic plague that like wiped out like a third of Europe, that's hard times. You know what I'm saying? Those are hard. We don't know hard times.
We don't know hard. I don't know hard times. No, we don't.
No.
And I love when people bash you for being patriotic or whatever it is, but I'm like, even Jordan Peterson, Ben Shapiro have always done statistically showing that this is the greatest place to live. Like, it is what it is.
Well, I know. So I think it was because of that, because we're not actually like, really struggling, and life is a struggle, but we're not like struggling for the necessities of life, like trying to just actually live to survive. Now we're just like, our struggle is what am I going to watch? There's nothing to watch on TV. Or my struggle is, that guy has a nicer car than me. Why can't I have a nice car? Like, that's our struggle now. You know what I'm saying? It's all comparative.
Yeah.
Because of that, now we have no purpose in life. We have to go seek out the dumbest fucking fights. Now we're all concerned about, pronouns.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, if we get to the point of such decadence to where we're arguing about pronouns, we're fucked.
Oh, yeah. We've said that many times off
so
recording.
Yeah. I've always thought that was
a shit show.
If I really think about it, like, I've got my own opinions about the whole pronoun thing, but if you really think about it, it's like, this is the dumbest fucking thing to argue about.
It's stupid. It's a waste of time to me. Huge waste of time.
And the one side is trying to make it out to be like it's an existential crisis. Like, if I don't use the right pronouns, like, I'm endangering the lives of others. Like, go fuck yourself. Like, get a hobby. Do something else with your life. Mm-hmm. Leave me alone. You're just telling me if I call you a he and you think you're a she intentionally, say I do it even with malice, that you're now in danger.
Yeah, you're a threat.
It's such a big fucking deal. Especially the thing is, like, a lot of people that think the same way live in pretty much in groups. That's just how it is. That's naturally how it works out. So most of the people that think that way are going to live in areas where everybody else thinks the same way that they do, right? So it's not like me. What am I going to travel across the country to go punch you in the face?
Right.
It doesn't make any sense with my words.
Right.
Like, you're surrounded by a bunch of people that are probably going to think the same way you do. Statistically, I mean, there's outliers where someone there's hate crimes and people kill people for all sorts of reasons. Hell, in my mind, I feel like it's worse to be killed because someone is completely indifferent, like a serial killer, right? They kill me for no other reason except for the pure pleasure of it. I feel like that's worse than killing me for my skin color or political beliefs.
Yeah.
Like, you care so little. You don't even know me. You care so little about the other person, human beings, that you just like kill just because you enjoy it and you get off on it. I feel like that's worse.
That is a lot worse.
You know what I mean?
It's a lot worse.
Total indifference.
Yep.
I don't know. So that's man, we got to. Why don't we pick up on stories that just piss us off for current events? I guess all the news is bad news.
It's all bad news. Good news is not.
There's no good news.
Sell. No,
right?
There's
no interesting news.
No.
We have to start picking something.
We can do local.
We're gonna have to do something.
Do local news with good stuff.
Oh, fuck local news. I hate local news.
Your own community.
No one's gonna care about local news except for people that live here. And I can't tell you the last time I watched local news.
Oh, I don't watch news, period. Like, unless it's
right.
Just,
so I don't want to talk about local news at all.
I got you.
So, that's definitely not my jam. Like, my mama used to do that thing. She would I always knew whenever she was watching too much news or she watched something on the news, because she would be like, I'd be like, hey, I'm going out. And she'd be like, oh, be careful. When you're out there, don't go over on this street. I'm like, why? It's like, oh, well, there's somebody got stabbed over there or whatever.
You're like, okay.
I'm like, all right, fine, whatever.
Whatever, Mom.
It's like, yeah, that was last week. Are they stabbing this week? I don't care.
Yeah, no, I don't watch it's all negative. It's too much negativity.
It's too much negativity, and it riles everybody up.
It does.
And I just don't watch that shit. I don't care.
I don't either.
You know what I'm saying? Maybe if I ever have kids, I'll care if there's like a pedophile down the street or something like that. But local news is just usually...
Your kids are never by themselves anymore anyways.
Right.
I have a child. They're never by themselves.
Right.
So...
Which I've heard is kind of might be a problem for current generations.
What's that?
Because I remember when I was a kid, I was by myself a lot.
Oh, no, I don't. I meant like out, like I wouldn't let my 6-year-old walk to school.
Yeah, but I'd done that.
I don't know. My parents did. They all did.
That's what I'm saying.
They used to walk.
It's different.
Miles.
It's different now. It's definitely different now. There's a
And
lot
I don't.
more.
And I can't put. Since I wasn't a parent then, I can't. And I compare to my childhood, I didn't walk to school at 6. We walked to the bus stop all the way in front of the neighborhood that late. But
fuck, when I lived out in the boonies, when I was, maybe not 6. I don't know, probably 6. Yeah, 6, 7, 8, 9, whatever, preteen. We'd disappear into the woods.
yeah, no,
Not a fucking soul. Like we could have died out there. Nobody
I
would
guess
know.
we're just overprotective now. I don't know what it is.
You know what I'm saying? I think maybe it probably is more dangerous out there. I mean, if y'all, again, we also lived in the boonies. Like how many?
Well,
there's
you
not that
and I,
many
I mean,
people.
we live in a nice neighborhood here that's mostly an older community, and I still won't let her.
Well, yeah. So I think if you live more in the suburbs, and definitely if you live in an urban environment, dense city, yeah, don't walk around by yourself. But I don't know. People do it in urban cities too, the kids and stuff like that. But there's also people around. I don't know.
It's not.
Is there more pedophiles and rapists and stuff like that now, or
I just
are
don't.
we just aware of it more now?
I don't. It may be part of the media too. I don't trust anybody. Like I think worst case scenario.
Well, I know,
no.
Right, but if you extrapolate that amongst an entire population, like everybody's doing the same thing, I agree with you. I think you're not, I'm not saying you're wrong, but I'm just saying, what does that do to a generation? They're coddled.
I don't know if I look at it as coddling at the age she is now. If she's older and I did it, yes, I think that would be a negative effect.
In comparison to past generations.
I don't know if my parents did it at 6.
Yeah, but you get what my point.
I like the point you're making. I just don't know. I don't know if there's a certain age that it would become a negative. I don't know.
Well, I think we talk about everybody's soft these days, and people back in the day were harder. But there's reasons why. Like we need to think about why is that the case? Is because times were harder, or is it because we treated dangers differently?
Well, I guess to dissect that would be when you're talking about everybody soft. I don't mean as in that sense of soft. I mean like everybody's feelings are soft. If that's what if you want to get on that down that road.
Yeah, but it's not like this stuff it's not like a new generation pops up and they're like, oh, we're just going to be soft and care about our feelings for everything.
Oh no, it's been
there's a reason why that happens.
Yeah,
and we need to think about the cause and effect of this kind of stuff, and it may be stuff that we are doing that we're not realizing that we're doing.
I'll let you know in a couple of years.
You get what I'm saying?
I'm not. Older, I don't know.
I'm not saying that you should totally.
Oh,
that's not what I'm saying.
I just mean in general. I don't have an opinion on it. I don't know because my first thought is everybody's fucking weird and coddled, and their phones raise them, and everybody's on Facebook and this and that. There is no more interaction amongst people to people anymore. Like young people are fucking weird now, and everybody's feelings get hurt when you say something wrong all the time.
Yeah. Well, I mean, do you think that makes sense though? That if the fact that kids are growing up, they're developing, their brains are developing, and there's always an authority figure around. Maybe. I think that has an effect on them because I think what it does is they no longer have to. Imagine if you were at work and your boss is always watching you.
Ugh. Right?
Does that change how your behavior is at work? It definitely would.
In the beginning, it did.
Well, think about that for a second. If you were a kid and you constantly had a parent, guardian, adult, whatever around all the time, you knew that, you no longer have the ability. It's like you don't have free will. You no longer have the ability to make a mistake, do something you're not supposed to do that nobody saw. Right? It's like one of those moral kind of things. Is ethics is doing something right when nobody's looking. Kids don't have that opportunity to do something right. They know they need to do something correct when nobody's looking because everyone's always looking.
Right.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
How do you think that affects people developmentally?
Oh fuck.
I'm going deep there, but
yeah, because every time I turn the corner, you're like, "That's not what I mean." I'm like, "I don't know,"
because
I can only go by me raising my kid. I don't know.
But it's one of those chicken or the egg kind of things. Are we doing that because it's more dangerous out there, or do we think it's more dangerous out there, and so we have to constantly watch people? But that's also creating a generation of people that are more fucked up, and so there's more dangers out there.
No, fuck.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I don't. I mean, I'm sure there's some negative to it.
Because when you think about,
you don't want to be a helicopter parent, as they're called.
Well, because you're right. Well, and there's definitely variation there because there's the really extreme. But think about it, where there's very few places where kids are actually just by themselves, and even I'm talking about even in a group of kids. Like I was never really by myself when I would go out in the woods. I always had like my brother or the neighborhood kids or something like that with me. Right, so I wasn't always by myself in a pure sense. But I mean, there was no authority figure around. Right? And so I was able to play and interact with other kids my age without the authority watching over us. So I could have been a bully or I could have been bullied and no parent knew about it. You know what I'm saying? So I had to learn conflict resolution on my own.
I agree with that 100%.
You get what I'm saying?
We do that now. Like we don't, even if Harper has a friend over, just for example, she's young or whatever, but we're not watching them. Like we're not on top of them.
Right.
Or making sure this one doesn't do this. We're just like, y'all go play. Obviously, somebody comes out screaming, there's a problem. But no, we want that to be able to develop things and skills on their own. Because I've seen the outcome of the parent you're referring to, or that type of interaction where it's super involved all the time, watching every move you make, authority figure on top of you.
Yeah.
You can't do anything on your own. You can't be self-sufficient as far as making your decisions or developing any skills without that big brother over you, that shadow. Yeah, that definitely has a complete negative.
I think it does because
negativity associated with it.
Because if we think about like the times past where people were, obviously people back then, say in the 40s, 50s, 30s, 20s, whatever you want to say, I say pre-60s. I think the 60s is when we all got fucked, but that's when it started. But say pre that, right? People were a lot more self-sufficient back then. They weren't whining about their feelings and shit like that. They handled their business. The gender roles was definitely a thing back then, right? Men were men, women were women. Kind of thing.
People were more neighborly as well.
Think about some of those aspects of that society. There was not, daycares, right? Mm-hmm. You got out of school, you took the bus home, or you walked home, or you biked home, or whatever, and you were on your own until your parents got off work, or there was a parent at the house, something like that. When you went outside, you weren't sitting in a room, air-conditioned room, watching TV all day with the parent in the house. You went outside and played, and you were out of earshot, out of eyeshot of another adult.
That's correct.
Right? If you think about that time period, that's what it was like.
Comes on.
Right. Yeah. I think if you take that culture and you across the entire population, right, that has an effect on that generation. We are completely opposite of that now.
Oh, 100%.
Right? So that is definitely affecting this generation. Yeah. And I think it's making us fucking whiny because I think it's also making us less moral and ethical as a people because we know someone's always watching, so we've never been able to develop a moral compass, if that makes sense. Or our moral compass is degraded because we know we're not really doing things that we are supposed to do because we know it's the right thing to do. We're doing things that we're supposed to do because we know we'll get caught if we don't. There's a difference. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So that's the reason why I think people are shadier, and if they know they can get away with something, they'll do it. Whether it's right or wrong doesn't matter. I think that's more common these days.
That's 100% more common.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's why we're.
And I think that's the reason why is because we know that someone's always watching. Mm-hmm. When we were growing up as kids, someone's always watching. I can't lie. I can't get away with this. I can't develop and be like, the reason why I shouldn't lie. And our kids these days, the reason why I shouldn't lie or steal or punch or hit or whatever is because I'll get caught. They don't ever. A lot of kids, I think, these days are not developing. I shouldn't do that because I wouldn't want that done to me, and that's wrong. Yeah. Because if they were left to their own devices and there was an authority figure and you punch somebody, immediately they're coming in. They're like, "Oh, stopping it and breaking it up." Well, what if you let that? Back. What if you let that? To work itself out. Let's watch how this interaction. Leave it be. I think that needs to happen more, in my opinion. I don't have kids.
Well, that's when we mentioned that. That's why bullies are good.
Right. It's the same kind of thing.
It's the same thing we talked about.
Same kind of thing. Yeah. Let that kind of work itself out a little bit.
It's not going to get any better.
No, I think it's going to get worse. I think it's going to have to, something big is going to happen. I thought a lot of people thought COVID was going to be like the big unifying thing that everyone's going to finally be like, okay, we got to band together. But it fucking got political, and it started to make no sense immediately. That was the problem. It's not that it got political. It's that
common sense went out the window.
Common sense went out the window, and if you were like, here's the problem though, is that say the powers that be do something, and you're like, but it's a good thing that they want to do, but you just don't quite understand it, and you've got questions. You're like, wait, hold on a second. You're telling me to do this, but this doesn't make sense. Can you explain this a little bit more? Can I do this a different way? If you just question it, they descended on you and started calling you a denier and a hoaxer and all this other conspiracy theorist bullshit when you're just asking a genuine question. That was the problem, is that they were smashing all dissent and not answering the questions. So the people that were just confused immediately got, well, fuck you then.
Yeah, it gets really emotional.
Then it became political. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying?
Yep. I agree.
It's crazy.
It's a wild ass ride right now, man.
Yeah, I know. So I get a little ranty there, super analytical. But I had kind of thought about that with the way we treat kids these days. And the thing is, like, I don't know. I don't necessarily know if it's a bad thing or a good thing. That's just my observation.
I think just by being a new parent, because I can still consider myself new. I'm no vet to it, but I don't think me not letting Harper walk to school is going to affect.
Well, look, there's a difference between a 6-year-old and an 8-year-old and a 10-year-old.
I agree 100%.
Right, I get that point.
Now if she old enough, sure, I wouldn't feel as, and it's not even so much like, let's just say a petties or whatever. It's just that, and obviously at 6, that they're stupid. Like, I'm not saying she's stupid as in that, but she's a little child. Like they don't
know
trust
things.
her. They don't know stuff. They don't know life.
Right.
Like they don't. That's why the whole thing.
And you're there to teach her.
Yeah, that's why they're like, let 4 and 5-year-olds decide their own.
No, fuck that.
Anyways, I'm not gonna get on that full thing, but like that baffles me. But anyways, like in that. But now like 12-year-old, 13-year-old kid, like we were outside all the time with bikes and rode the neighborhood. My mom like, hey, y'all stay together, whatever, do your thing.
Right.
Like there should be more of that. But if you notice, even in our neighborhood, there's not a lot of that. Very seldom do you ever see groups of kids anymore.
No.
It's just not.
They're all inside, and even if they go outside, it's usually supervised group things.
It's like I'm saying. Like we if Harper wants to be by herself in the house, she can do whatever. Be by yourself.
Right.
You need to let kids be self-soothing, self-efficient, can do things by themselves. Right. They don't have to always have someone with them all the time.
Yeah, I think so. I think our dependence on technology has made it to where we're constantly in these indoors and in groups, and so
we're awkward.
We're always around other authority figures, and I think that in all of our social interaction, a vast majority of it is over social media and stuff like that. So we're not, like I've heard, I think Mike Tyson said this, is that the problem is that too many of y'all are, mouthing off behind a keyboard and you're not doing face-to-face where you get punched in the face.
Yeah,
right?
That's true.
That's the problem. And I
everybody's
think
an armchair warrior.
True. Everybody's got a smart fucking mouth when they're behind a keyboard, but they don't want to say in person, right? And generally, I'll embellish and I'll go over the top for entertainment value behind a keyboard because it's funny or whatever. But I've never really really shit on somebody over social media and argue and stuff. Like I'll have arguments or discussions, friendly arguments or whatever. But I've never really berated somebody over social media real hardcore because I would not do that to their face. But if there was something I would say to their face, then I would type it out.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, right. That makes sense.
Right. Yeah, I think that's definitely a problem. So my thinking is what's that going to do for the next generation? I think it's only going to get worse.
It's going to get worse.
Some people have a little bit more optimistic view, but the thing is, all these things that are creating more and more bitches in society is still there and becoming more prevalent, like the participation trophy, social media.
What was the thing you said? We're getting shittier men. What was that? What's that?
Oh yeah, what did I say? We're getting wimpier men and shittier women.
That's it.
That's what it is.
I like that.
It's really what it is. It's the women are becoming shitty men and the men are becoming shitty women.
That's correct.
Is what it's like.
Yep.
That's what I think so. We're doing a gender swap, a giant gender swap, and we're doing it poorly.
Yeah.
Right. It's making everything worse. Yeah, but I would agree with that. I just think about that. What's that going to look like down the line? Because all the things that are creating this current state of things is not going away. It's only getting
here
more.
to stay.
And then they're talking about the fucking metaverse and shit. Where
Oh,
we're gonna,
don't get me on
We're going to
that.
have social media strapped to our fucking eyeballs. No.
That'll be on its own little specific group.
Some people think that's kind of a fad, but I don't know. Because we've talked about how cool that would be, like go into like the Matrix style or Ready Player One
So
style
I can be a
universe.
fucking Power Ranger
Right,
or
to do something
robot.
cool.
Yeah.
But the thing is we don't do anything in moderation in our society. So if they did make that really cool,
balls
we
out.
would be in it 100%.
Yeah.
We would be like that movie Surrogates, where you just like plug in and you're like all gross and sweaty and fat and overweight and
I'm
your
playing-
beard is just growing
yeah.
out. But in the real
The
world, which is
Rock.
the virtual world now, you're a fucking
Bodybuilder.
bodybuilder and get
I'm a perfect specimen.
Right. I've got a lightsaber and an AK and I can fly. Right.
Yeah.
That's the way it'll be. Right.
Right.
Whenever the virtual reality becomes actual reality, you think anybody's gonna get out? So
No.
some people think that like, oh, the metaverse is never gonna catch. It depends.
It will.
You make it more appealing than reality, people will stay in it. What's that gonna fucking do to the human race? We're so fucked. In short, we are so fucked.
Jacob would have loved that conversation.
But it's gonna be fun. I think I'm gonna enjoy the ride. Like we're fucked, but I'm gonna enjoy the ride all the way down.
Yeah, dude. We're all born terminal.
Right?
Let's ride it out.
Pretty much. We are all born
Our
terminal.
born terminal, dude.
Is that a Bible verse?
No.
Philippians 3:18.
No.
We're all born terminal.
That's actually not.
Okay.
But I'm glad you like it.
I had never heard that before. That's pretty good.
Well, steer us out of this.
All right, let's get out.
really-
Let's get out of this depressing,
Steer out of this sad
fucking
shit.
cesspool.
Let's
of-
come back out. Let's
Goddamn.
do a.
All right, so this is the other part of the structure.
yeah.
So we did our like shit that pisses off this week, or stupid people in the wild.
Even though all of our stories pissed us off.
Right, it's pretty much the whole. We just did that one big long segment, and then we did like current events or whatever,
Yeah.
which kind of went crazy, haywire.
That's okay.
Like especially like we talked about the Brittany Griner thing. I didn't even give a fuck really. Like we had a bunch of opinions about it, but I didn't really
it's
give a
hot
shit.
right now. It's hot news right now.
Current event type stuff. And then the other thing we were thinking about, because we kind of liked it, and this is something we kind of do and I think about all the time anyway, outside of the podcast, is top three.
Yeah, top
five,
three,
right?
top five. Yeah.
So we think we're gonna do a kind of at the end of every episode, we're gonna do podium finish. Right.
I like it.
So podium finish, bronze, silver, gold, third, second, first, whatever. And it's just going to be top three. Everybody does like top 5, top 10, but let's just keep it simple. Let's do top 3.
yeah.
Because I don't like, sometimes if someone's like, hey, what's your top 5? And I'm like, fuck, now I got to
Yeah.
scrape the bottom of the
I
barrel and
think-
try to
and
come up
what-
with a 4 and 5.
And as it evolves, probably too, it's not just going to be specific to certain things. It could be
It'd be whatever.
sandwiches, toilet paper, T-shirts. It could be anything.
Right. I told somebody I could have an opinion about birthday napkins.
I
You know
could
what
too,
I'm saying?
and restaurant napkins as
Right.
well.
Doesn't
Yeah.
matter. Right. We already started.
Favorite places to shit in
Exactly.
town.
Right,
Okay, got it. Yep.
Why do they guys fold the napkins the way that they do? It's
I don't
annoying.
know.
Right, I could go on,
Yeah.
but whatever. So we're gonna do something that kind of not
is fun.
abstract. It's gonna be kind of a fun one. Of course, anybody got any suggestions out there? Anything you want us to
rate?
rank?
Yeah, we'll do it.
Then we'll do it. Anything. We kind of did this a little bit last week. We did top 5. We're gonna amend it where we did jerk off spots. That was fun.
And that was more of a stab at.
And we just kind of
Scoot.
we just was like, let's do this, fuck it, and we just did it, right? We kind of did it.
Did Scoot appreciate that?
We shot from the hip.
Did he say?
Yeah, actually, he messaged me after that, and he was like, "Thanks for referring to my name about you jerking off in different spots." I'm like,
It's just all about love.
it's like
Tell
whatever.
him shut up.
He enjoyed it.
It's all out of love.
So yeah, we'll do podium finish is what we're going to call it, and we'll do third, second, and first. And the topic is going to be movies that bombed in the box office but
Yep.
became cult classics.
classics.
This is our top 3. There's a lot of movies like that.
There's a
Everybody's
bunch.
and there's even subgenres, but this is going to be general. Just our top 3 favorite movies that bombed in the box office but became cult classics. Movies that every time they're on, I'm fucking watching it.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah, dude. Hit me. Go
Sorry,
ahead with.
so
Let's do
when
number
we
3.
start-
Go ahead with 3. Yeah,
All
go
right,
ahead.
So we're gonna alternate on this one because
That'd be fine. Yeah, it's just a top 3.
All right, so my third place with the bronze medal is Scott Pilgrim versus the World. I love that fucking
It's
movie.
so good. It's so good.
It's out there. It's abstract.
Michael Cera's so good in it.
Right. It's the only other thing besides Superbad that he's in that was good. Right. I can't think of anything else that he was in that he was good, except for This Is the End, where he played himself. That was short-lived. That was hilarious.
Yep.
Right. He's like, "Oh, does this Coke smell funny to you?" And he blew it into McLovin's face. That was really funny. And he like slapped Rihanna's ass like for real, and then she hit him for real.
Yes.
It was funny.
That was
good. That was a good scene. It was at Mindy Kaling. She was like, "If I don't fuck Michael Cera tonight, I'm gonna kill myself."
And then
it was a crazy whole thing.
Brie Larson's in that too.
Yeah, that's true.
Brie Larson. Is it Chris Evans?
Yeah, Chris Evans in there. You had Scott Pilgrim. You had Michael Cera. You did have Brie Larson. You had Mary Elizabeth Winstead was in it. She was the romantic interest. Yeah, pull that shit up. You had Kieran Culkin was Macaulay Culkin's brother. Mm-hmm. Aubrey Plaza. She plays that deadpan perfectly. That was you had Anna Kendrick was his sister in it. Like it was a great
If
cast.
you haven't seen it, you need to watch it. And right now it's streaming too on Hulu. You need to watch it.
It's fantastic.
It is really fun.
It is. It's based off of I think it was off of a graphic novel or a video game
graphic novel series.
Called
Scott
series.
Pilgrim.
Yep, I love that fucking movie. It's quirky. I like how it has like a chapter format because each X. So basically, the basic premise of Scott Pilgrim is dude likes this girl, but in order to get her, he has to fight off her 7 evil exes, and that's basically how it goes. And it's very
so
cartoony. Cool. It's off the wall. It makes no sense.
It's really fun,
and I can see why it bombed and all because it's not for everybody. As soon as I can guarantee, a lot of people went into it and they were like thought they were going to get like a run of the mill comedy type thing, and they start seeing like weird anime cartoon video game like shit going on. They're like, what the fuck is this?
It's got
wild.
so many big A-listers in it. It's good.
I love that movie.
Good choice, man.
One of my favorite, probably my favorite line is Kieran Culkin's line. Whenever it's the first X,
dressed
like
a
pirate, and he says, he's like, "Hey, it's that guy." Like, what the fuck? It was weird.
He's the gay friend.
Yeah, he's the gay one. Yeah, that he sleeps in the same bed with. Right?
Yes, it's his roommate. It's the best.
My God, he's like, "Hey, it's that guy."
Nice choice, dude.
Or he's like, "Hey, he looks like a pirate." He's like, and Scott looks at him. He's like, "Are you a pirate?"
Yeah, are you? Good choice.
I love that movie. So what's your bronze? What's coming up there for you?
So my bronze is going to be Highlander.
There can be only one.
Yeah, so
The Kurgan.
if you've never seen Highlander, well, I feel bad for you, which, by the way, you can stream it on Peacock right now, too. Yeah, dude. So I first saw this. I heard about it because we'd all seen Mortal Kombat. That's who played Raiden. And I forget his damn name, and it's because I'm on the spot right now. I'm going to forget his name. Christopher Lambert. There he is. Shout out Christopher Lambert. Anyways, no, you couldn't beat that film. Shitty, weird dialogue. Sean Connery's in it, and it's basically it's immortal swordsmen fighting for the prize.
Right.
And then of course that one line, he's like, "It's the quickening," and it's the whole thing was amazing. It's still awesome, even when it's on today. I still watch it.
Oh yeah, I know. We were talking about it at work. It was Jet Li's The One. It was basically Highlander with Kung Fu.
Highlander with Kung Fu. Yep.
Right? No, he's killing all his alters in order to become the one.
Of course, Highlander, there can only be one. Like, it was the greatest line. Even when we went to the Renaissance Fair, we pulled that sword, his katana.
Yeah, absolutely. It's so great.
And the Kurgan.
And, we asked that guy, he was like, how often have you heard that? He's like, too much.
Too much. Every single day that this event is going on.
Bunch of fucking dorks.
Yeah, I'd say that's probably... That's going to be my bronze because anytime it's on, I watch it. And there's something... And, of course, they did sequels, and they just weren't as good.
Well,
but the whole idea
I can see why that bombed, because it's kind of B-rated
it's B-rolled,
when it came out.
And it's corny.
Right.
And, like, it's weird. It's because, like, these guys just... Every year they come to do the gathering to whoever can kill all the immortals. There's only one immortal left.
Right.
And there's no specific reason why you're chosen to be an immortal. It's just
random
picks.
Luck of the draw.
So you have to behead. That's the only way you can kill an immortal is beheading them.
Right.
And then you gain their past experiences, knowledge, and everything from that. And then there's a final prize when the last two immortals fight. To me, I'm like, that's cool as shit.
That's cool shit. What if that mechanic actually worked in real life, and like I wanted to play in the NFL, so all I had to do is decapitate like Tom Brady, and boom, I get all his powers.
Yep, that's all you gotta do. Too bad I had to sleep with him. That would suck.
Oh my God! All you have to do is suck his dick, and you get all his powers.
You get all his powers.
Oh no!
Oh no!
But I would do it.
Yeah, right.
The dude's worth a lot. You see, you see who his wife is?
Yeah. Well, that's how she got where she is.
Right. That's right. She did it. Yeah. If she can do it, I can do it too.
That's my bronze. That was my bronze for
There
sure.
I go, saying some gay shit again.
It's
Every
okay.
episode, I have to say something
that's all
semi-gay.
right. You're just bringing us back.
My God.
That just died.
Oh, yeah. Well, fuck your computer.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I noticed your power cord in the other room. I was like, you might need that.
Yeah, it's all right.
All right, so Larry, let's move on to
Hit me with the
second
silver.
silver place medal is going to be Idiocracy.
Well, we're currently living.
Is basically a window into the future. Is Idiocracy. Fantastic fucking movie. It's Mike Judge is the dude that made it, and he's a damn genius. He should be like a political commentator, a social commentator, because everybody needs to listen to what he says because he has some sort of window into the future. I think he just looks at the way that stupid people and being like, what if they like all multiplied? Pretty much, and which is the premise of Idiocracy, is if smart people that are intelligent, you see it all the time. They're career focused. They're like, oh, they're becoming lawyers and doctors, and so they put off having kids, and they're all like, when we're established after I graduate college,
I don't need
after I become partner, after I become a resident, or after I do this, after I build the world, then I'm gonna have kids, right? And then when they finally do have kids, they have like a couple because they want to have a sustainable family. They've only got they don't have to buy a new house that has like 8 rooms. They only got a 3-bedroom house, so they're very smart about it. And all the stupid people just fuck each other.
And multiply rabbits.
Raw dog and don't give a shit. They're constantly pregnant and they pop out kids and they're just running around ragged, right? They don't give a shit. And so if you fast forward, 1,000 years, we're all going to be stupid as shit because all the stupid people are breeding, all the smart people are breeding themselves out.
I love that movie too because the IQ test is like matching up shapes.
Yeah, exactly. And then because he does it right, he becomes like the smartest person.
And I love the president.
Oh yeah,
President Camacho.
President Camacho. Oh yeah.
And then one was KFC. You get it was a strip club or brothel. You get a bucket of chicken and a full release.
And a full release, right? Right. Oh yeah,
it's great. If you haven't seen it, you need to watch it. It's awesome.
It was like, what was it? Like Starbucks was like a latte, and it was like a hot latte, and then like a threesome latte or something like that, or whatever.
It's a great movie.
It's so good.
Great. Yeah,
Electrolytes is what plants crave.
That's got what's his name? Luke Owens.
Luke Wilson.
Excuse me. Yeah, that's
Luke
right.
Wilson.
Luke Wilson.
Yeah, Terry Crews, Dax Shepard,
Maya Rudolph.
She was the prostitute that got frozen with him.
Became his the first
Became
wife.
his first lady.
Spoiler alert!
Right.
Spoiler alert!
So good.
That's when they were watering the crops with like Mountain Dew.
I like my favorite line probably from that movie is whenever they're traveling to the time machine because Dax Shepard's character is like really stupid, but he's also a lawyer, and he sounds like, oh yeah, we got a time machine, I'll take you right to it, and he's going on this long trek to find the time machine. And the time machine is in a Costco. I like when you show the Costco, and it's like this vast landscape of just shit.
What do you say? Welcome to Costco. I love you.
Right. That's the line. Is you walk in,
just ruined
and that fat dude is like, "Welcome to Costco. I love you."
I just fucked it all up.
You
My
did.
bad.
Fuck me up.
I didn't know that was the line.
That's
you were
my
gonna use.
favorite line in that movie.
It's good.
It's so ridiculous. Welcome to Costco. I love you.
Love you.
That Costco has like a train station in it.
Oh, the whole thing was ridiculous. That's right before we saw the KFC.
You see, if you ever notice in the background, there's like a plane that had crashed through the ceiling of it, and it's still like nobody did anything with it. Oh, I love that fucking movie. All right, so that's my silver. 100%. Go watch that movie. It's great. It's a window into our current culture and it's our future. Because if we don't do something, that's 100% what's going to happen.
My silver is The Girl Next Door.
Oh.
It's on. By the way, you can watch it on Netflix.
You went a different direction.
I went way different direction.
I got you.
Well, and it's
a comedy.
My reasoning for watching it is not that reason because here's what I'm gonna get.
Okay, all right. Tell me your reason.
girly.
I mean, my reason is because the girl is hot as fuck.
Okay, for one, she's a total smoke show. She really is. Her name's Alicia Cuthbert.
Yep.
That's the only thing I remember her from.
She's so hot.
Oh, that in Old School. She's in Old School. She's the boss's daughter that he sleeps with. I forgot.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, she's in that too. That's a good movie too. Anyways, this one for me is just because any type of like high school senior like
coming of age
love story.
And there was a lot of coming of age.
Yeah, so I am a fucking sucker for it. I I can't
Yeah,
help
like
it.
Superbad, Dazed and Confused.
It's something. It's something. I don't know if it's because I'm not going to get too
American
down there.
Pie movies.
I'm not going to get. I fucking love the
I know.
American Pie movies.
You're all about that shit.
I actually have a tattoo planned for those movies on my pop culture.
So you like all
sleeve.
the coming of age stories, and then I know you're a big Nicholas Sparks guy.
Yeah, for some reason I have a weird niche for because in that movie it's like his first love. So like that whole idea of all the friends,
Yeah,
the
but
senior
first-
year,
first love
the,
with a porn
the
star.
whole. Well, yeah, but I mean, hey man, lay on her back. I don't know. There's something about it. Every time I watch it, if it's on, I'm watching it. I watched it twice last month just because when we were working from home, I
Yep.
just had it on. I was just like, I forgot how fucking good this movie is.
I would say
it's awesome.
It is good.
I don't know why it bombed so bad. It's good.
It is good. I enjoyed it.
That's my silver, and probably
Well, and
because
also
I think
it's-
it's the for me it's the emotional attachment to it.
Well, I think the other thing that is appealing about that is like an average dude getting a chick that's
It's an average dude, super hot
that's
chick, and he's
going to be
he's
appealing
the-
to a lot of people.
He's a smart, nerdy guy. Like
Right.
it just, I don't know. He's the nice guy, and the nice guy finished first
Which
in that movie.
That would never fucking happen. It
would never happen.
The nice nerdy guy that's he's just going to be himself, and it's going to attract a girl like that.
He tries
It's
to
bullshit.
play it cool.
But here's the underlying thing. I don't think you don't think about that movie is he was like super. She saw on the writing on the wall with him. She was like, "Oh, this motherfucker's going to be successful."
Damn, man, you're really cutting it down.
You get what I'm saying?
I know where you're going with that.
Because he was trying to get that scholarship, but he
I know where you're
didn't.
going
But then
with
he's
that.
super entrepreneurial at the end, and he was. And
Well, he got a confidence boost because he got a total smoke show
and
girlfriend.
His plan, his overall plan in the beginning was that he was going to go to like law school or whatever that school was, and he was going to like run for president. He was going to like be a senator or some shit like that, and he like
correct.
had a legit chance of doing it, or whatever, because he had this whole plan. That's what attracted her. She was, and he was also a nice guy, genuine, all that kind of
Yeah, 'cause she was
blah,
with-
bullshit,
yeah,
blah,
right,
whatever.
right.
But really, what really got her engine running was that he was going to be a successful dude.
Well, she didn't need his money. She already had money.
Yeah, she was quitting the biz. She didn't
I don't
have.
know. I'm
she
not, you're
could've-
not gonna ruin my coming of
telling
age
you,
love
that's-
tale.
that's-
You're not gonna fuck it up for
That's
me with
that's one of the-
today's
I
modern
know.
women. I'm not.
That's the subtext there
I know
that nobody thinks about.
I know. I like to think that because he was different, not the asshole. The good guy finished first.
Yeah, okay.
Fucking stop. All right, that's my silver. Don't fuck it up for me. Go to your first.
Okay.
Go to
All
your
right.
first place.
And gold goes to The Fifth Element.
Oh God, it's
I love that fucking movie.
It's so good. Bruce
It's
Willis.
such good
It's
sci-fi.
so good.
It's such good sci-fi, and it's the I can't think of the director now. He did Valerian in a City of a Thousand Planets.
That one sucks.
which is terrible.
This one
That movie could have been good.
it had a lot of potential.
It could have been good. The casting was terrible, but The Fifth Element. I mean, it's
Luke Besson
that's
is
it.
the director. Yeah.
We're talking about like it's Chris Tucker at his height, and he's playing a fucking radio drag queen. What the hell? It was
But
crazy.
he scored with chicks.
Right, but he fucks chicks. Like it was.
Yeah.
What kind of?
I was okay with
that
it.
was a wild concept.
I was okay
back
with
then.
it.
This is what we're talking about. When was that? When did that movie come out?
That was 19.
It's like late 90s, right? 98?
Hold on. Let me get back to it. 1997.
There you go.
Ah, the 90s.
97, right?
Yes.
Chris Tucker at his height, right? Playing a radio
Bruce Willis,
DJ
was it
drag
his-
queen that fucks chicks.
his peak
Bruce
times?
Willis at his peak, right? And had probably one of the best action hero / sci-fi names. Corbin Dallas. It's fucking great. I love that.
Corbin now, and then
Right? They had Mila
hell,
Jovovich.
Chris Tucker was Ruby Rod.
Ruby Rod, right?
awesome.
Great names. And then you had Mila Jovovich just like popped up on the
Yeah.
scene. I think it might have been her, like one of her first
Gary
things.
Oldman.
She was hot as balls.
Gary Oldman was in.
Gary Oldman.
Luke Perry from Beverly, or was it Beverly Hills 90210? He was in that.
Yes, dude. Yeah, Gary Oldman in one of the weirdest characters
dude.
he's ever played.
But he played it great.
Right. Zorg.
You need to, if you haven't seen it, it's on Tubi for free. Watch
dude.
it. Watch
Had
it.
aliens, had starship fights, kind of, sort of short.
The music score was badass.
Music was great. It was a weird, wild world but also kind of like a plausible world. Like I could see this happening.
actually made total sense.
It made kind of sense, right? Fucking A, that movie was so good.
It is good. I might watch it.
And it
tonight.
also had it also had like a mystical kind of like the Force kind of thing to where it was like
the elements.
You had these elements with the crystals and everything. You had to stop this like sentient meteor,
It was pure evil.
pure evil,
Pure
like in
evil.
ball form.
Yeah, dude.
And it
was like a Furby.
wild. Shit was wild.
Fuck, that's
Had
good.
had Debo in it from Friday.
Yep.
He was the president.
Oh, fuck.
I love that fucking
That's
movie.
good.
Anytime that movie was on, I was watching. It had a whole city of flying cars. I think that was like the...
Well, that was its. Whenever the trailer dropped, that whole big. If you remember,
That was a set
Whenever
piece.
you saw it was the taxi in the flying cars, so
Right.
like the big, bulky, loud cars,
Right.
clanky and kind of
very
robust.
futuristic, but it was
Yeah.
also like there was like smog, and like if you went down low, like it was all shitty. It was like that's what if we ever got flying cars and got like super high tech,
LA.
like we have flying cars and all this kind of stuff, that's what it's going to look like. There's going to be like a scummy underbelly, right? It's going to be more like Cyberpunk, that video game, than it'll be like Star Trek.
Yeah.
That's what I've heard people talk about. Like, the future is not going to be like Star Trek, where everything's like nice and clean and pristine. No, it's going to be more Star Wars, where it's
can't
like
take care of
gross
the
and
shit we
gritty.
got now.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there's always going to be like fucking some greasy plumber with his ass hanging out trying to keep everything together, right? And so you're always going to have that kind of like scummy level down. Like, I'm not saying plumbers are scummy, but you know what I'm saying.
I get what you're saying. Yeah, I get it.
But so yeah, I think that's number one. I love that movie. I've always loved that movie ever since I was a kid, right? From '97 on, right? Love that fucking.
It's good. I think the first time I saw it was with you at CDE.
Yeah, I
We
introduced
watched
you
it.
to that movie.
I'm
Yep.
pretty sure.
Yep.
Oh, fuck, it was good.
I think I introduced you to Idiocracy too.
Yep. I'd never seen it either.
And Scott Pilgrim. So mine, I introduced
You're
you
welcome.
to.
Yeah,
right?
thank you.
Exactly. So Highlander I've seen before you introduced me to that one. What was your number two?
The Girl
Girl
Next Door.
I saw that one.
Of course,
I
that
love
came out in
fucking
2004.
shit.
We all saw
super
that.
hot. All right, what's your number one? Get hit
Number
me with
one
it.
is Legend, 1985. Tom Cruise. And the reason why...
Was that his first role?
No. One of his...
It was early.
It was early, but it wasn't his first film. So Ridley Scott, which I love Ridley Scott, but actually this came out in 86. So it bombed, and people who haven't seen it, it is fucking trippy. It's weird, but I like it because Tim Curry's in it, and he plays one of the best demonic beings ever in any movie, and it's all practical.
Like it's all personality. And he has it's really good practical effects.
Fantastic. And this is right
the
before.
time.
This is about 4 years before he did it. Before he played Pennywise.
Right.
So he was at his like peak.
Yeah, OG.
And
OG,
before
yeah.
Rocky Horror Picture Show, I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure this was after.
I
Anyways,
think they've been after
Tim
because he
Curry's
was
awesome.
real young in that.
Tim Curry's awesome, but I like it because it's simple. It's evil versus good, and the way it's shot, the cinematography is like, it's campy, but in the best way.
Right.
You have to watch it.
Right.
And Tom Cruise really has like 3 lines, and it's weird, and it almost puts like a. It's kind of like if when you read like a bedtime story, but like if it was real, like the evil version of your bedtime story.
Right.
It's all practical effects. It's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Legends #1, gold standard,
Well,
cult film.
That's all they really had
Watch
back
it.
then. I mean, they had special effects, I think, but it
Well, they
wasn't
did. Star
good.
Wars is around the same. Empire
Yeah,
Strikes
but it
Back
wasn't
was around the
great.
same. Oh no, it's not.
Yeah, but those special effects were actually they were still physical. It wasn't computer generated. Is what I'm saying.
Oh yeah, you mean, yeah. We're
Even
talking about the remaster.
Yeah, Star Wars
Excuse me,
wasn't
yeah.
computer generated.
Well, even this-
they would animate stuff in there.
Yeah.
Afterwards, but it wasn't computer generated. They didn't have CG, so you
But
had to do practical
You had
pretty
to.
much.
This one I love because it's all practical.
Oh, yeah.
it's awesome.
That was around the same
And
time
the
as
film
like
scores.
That was around the
music's
same
good.
time as like Labyrinth and
Yeah, it's not so much
Dark
Jim
Crystal
Henson
and shit like
yeah.
that,
This
right?
just watch if you haven't ever seen it. That's my gold #1 cult
I've
film.
seen bits and pieces. I've never sat down and
You
watched
need to watch
that
it
throughout.
You need to sit and watch the whole
All right,
thing.
I'll do that. So all right,
awesome.
so that's the one the movie on your list that I have not seen, like sat down and watched.
You
throughout.
can
I've seen
watch
the other ones.
it. I like to get people at
I haven't
watch
seen
it.
Highlander in
You have
forever.
to rent this. You cannot just watch it, unfortunately.
Okay.
At one time, YouTube had it for free with advertisements, but you can rent it for like $4. It's worth it.
Okay.
Just to say you've seen it. If you never watch it again, that's my gold standard cult film.
Okay. The gold standard of
My
cult
gold standard
classic.
cult classic
Okay.
is, for me, is Legend.
Yeah, see, mine's Fifth Element. See, we knew
Runner-up was Kroll.
How we had to have known that ours would go sci-fi fantasy be #1 because we're very into the sci-fi fantasy
yeah.
thing genre.
I love fake shit, as my friend called
Like
it.
I like comedies, and you're right. Yeah, I like fake shit.
That's what my buddy called it, fake shit.
Fake shit.
What's your #1? What's your gold standard? Or did you just give yours? The Fifth Element was
Element,
#1?
yeah, Fifth
Okay, my
Element,
bad.
yeah.
Yeah, okay.
All right, so that's our podium finish. That's bronze, silver, and gold for our cult classics that bombed at the box office.
Yep.
See if you disagree or agree.
Yeah,
if,
and
if you
you
got
haven't
another list,
watched
let us
them.
know.
Or if you do get a chance to
Definitely
watch
watch
them,
them.
message us. Let us know what you think. Don't be shy.
Yep, if you haven't seen them, watch them because our opinions are correct. But if you have an alternate opinion, let us know so that we can bash it. And also, if you want us to have any other top threes you want us to talk about, comment.
Oh yeah, dude, it could be anything.
We'll do it, man.
I
We don't care. We'll, like I said, we have opinions about everything. The stupidest shit, important shit, movies, anything and everything. It doesn't matter. I don't care. Even stuff. I'll have an opinion about something that I don't know anything about.
Size coffee cups. I don't care.
I don't know anything
Pencils.
about a subject. I will formulate opinion on it. I will pull it out of my ass.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Which is better, Crazy Art or Crayola crayons? I don't care.
It doesn't matter. So we'll do it. But and also let us know what you think about the general structure of the show. If you kind of dig that more, we might continue to do that. Still open ended. We can do different stuff. We could do, like I said, the top 3, and do some current events and what grinds our gears. People that piss us off, or stupid people in the wild, whatever. We do that same exact thing every week, or we can vary it up. I don't care. We'll try some different stuff. But let us know what you think in the comments on Instagram, YouTube. Is there a fucking? I don't even know. I don't really know anything about like some of the. Where are our comment sections? It's just YouTube and Instagram, right?
Instagram, Spotify.
Can you comment on Spotify?
You can.
Yeah, that's the comment section. Yeah, that's right. That's
Rate,
the comment section.
rank, and all that.
I was gonna say I've never actually looked at a comment section on Spotify before, on other podcasts. So I didn't know if it had a comment section. So I guess Spotify. Did people actually leave comments on Spotify?
Not very often.
I didn't think so. Well,
You do on
I mean,
Apple.
on anything else.
On Apple, you can.
Well, I know, but can and do people do is two different things. Like I know you can on a lot of pretty much everything has a comment section, but I mean, who's actually leaving comments on? It's like Pornhub. Who's leaving fucking comments on Pornhub? Like weirdos. You know what I'm saying?
They're
like
funny,
just
though.
because there's a comment section doesn't mean like people really use it. You know what I'm saying? It's always weirdos. That's where you've gone too far when you make an account and start commenting on videos.
Yeah, that's when you know you've fucked up.
Yeah, but yeah. So listeners, get off of Pornhub. Go comment on Instagram, YouTube, Spotify if you must. I'll go find it, and let us know what you think about the format and also the content. If you want us to do something else, but you ready to lead us out of here?
I'm trying.
Actually, you're not.
I'm trying.
My
computer died. I'm trying to get it to download
So
on my phone.
So I'm gonna stall.
Do you have it?
No, I no. I've got it on my my tablet that's over there. Not doing anything. You don't have it?
It won't download.
You motherfucker. Oh, God damn it. We're such amateurs.
Oh, I got it.
All right. You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready. And
All right. Peace, y'all.